We're here. We're live. We're coming at you. The dishes are done, man. I'm John Husagno. And
Yes.
after many delays, we're back with
So
episode
many.
29.
Oh my God.
The Eagles are now two-time Super Bowl champions.
That's crazy.
Agnew, did you watch the game at your house? Did you go
Yeah.
to a party?
No, we watched it here, just with the kids and stuff. We had like every game leading up to
Just
it.
the four of you.
We had invited other people over and stuff. Yeah. So this time I was like, you know what? We had some family come over to watch with us, but I didn't want it to be like a big party or anything. I just wanted to focus in case everything went wrong.
Yes, right. I know. I told Heather, I was like, we're treating this like we're watching a movie as a family. Like, we're going to be watching every single second of it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be miserable for one of us. And dude, that was like the biggest surprise to me. And it didn't like click until the next day. Dude, my girls were boo-boo face the entire Super Bowl because the Eagles just destroyed the Chiefs every second of it. And they looked like Eagles fans who just couldn't get in a good mood.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, what's wrong? And she'd be like, nothing. You know, like when you're losing, it's just like, it's hard to laugh.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what, it's like tough to laugh. That's what they were doing. And it's because they felt bad because Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team was losing.
Oh, yeah. That was
What a time to be alive.
That was a whole thing. Luckily Ruby fell off that train a while ago and was rooting for it. So we just, through the whole game, we just kept making that, like, Kelsey, I was trying to explain a very deep reverse psychology concept that Kelsey was trying to play bad so that he would give Taylor an excuse to break up with him because he can't break up with her. Right? Like if he breaks up with her, it's like a death sentence. Like people will hunt him down. You know, so the only person that can end it is her. And so he's trying to George Costanza it, you know, like he's like, oh, I dropped one. Oh, at the Super Bowl. Whoa, I am not worth it. You should just go.
Dude, he had the face of someone who should get dumped. He was like, the whole game, he was like, I play football?
Yeah.
Like he just looked dumb.
It was like amnesia.
Game.
Yeah. He's like, wait, how did I get
snap out of it?
It was
they had nothing.
It was like Quantum Leap. It's like like he flashed into his body and he's like, whoa, where am I? I'm at the Super Bowl in 2025. It's like,
dude, that's a joke.
Oh boy.
It was like I've never been here before. I was like, dude, you should retire. I think you're done. Like the Chiefs looked like they hadn't played football in like months. Like they just could do nothing. It was weird.
I know a lot of people.
We just suffocated them.
I know a lot of people are like on like the refs and the calls and stuff. Watching the Chiefs games, and I watched, you know, the playoff games that we weren't involved in against the Chiefs, and it feels like a LeBron-esque ruling. Like when LeBron takes like 7 steps without ever putting the ball on the ground, you know, and then dunks it, and they're like, "Oh wow, what a great LeBron play!" And I'm like, "Well, he didn't dribble." So it's sort of a big part of basketball, you know. It's sort of like one of the main parts of basketball. And when I was watching their game, it's like some of the calls were just blatant, you know, like that ball is on the, like that hits the ground. It hits the ground. It's done. Like I don't care if it was the Bills or, you know, or the Chiefs. Like it hit the ground. Like it seems pretty obvious, right? And it just kind of seemed, it just didn't.
Oh, I didn't
feel
see
right,
that one. I saw the first down call, and I was like, all right. I mean, it's tough. But the thing is,
the first down thing that was tough.
It's the Chiefs are just the best team, so everyone's watching all their games now. So it's like, oh, they get all these calls. It's like there's calls in every game. There's questionable calls in every game. It's like, you know, people calling for Eminem's music to be removed. It's like, well, you didn't know who he was because you only know who he is because he's popular now.
Only because there's so
Yeah.
much attention on it, does it actually come out?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
get
that's
it.
what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. I'm not trying to be completely critical on it. It
But
just
also,
had a weird feeling.
but you are right in the LeBron comparison, and it's also like they changed rules in the NFL because of Brady getting crushed so many times and
Right.
Manning, getting hit so hard.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, they do try. I don't know what it is,
Well, he does
but
that. See, Mahomes does that though. Like Mahomes abuses those rules. Like when you saw
yeah,
Hurts
he almost
run,
like flops.
if Hurts stayed in a run, he would just get hit. But he wasn't doing like I might almost slide. Nope, I'm not going to. Oh, I'm gonna fake slide back. Like he like Mahomes does these fake slides, and it drives me absolutely bonkers because it's like, all right, look, the rules in place to
The
keep
slide,
your brain
yeah,
in one piece, right? You shouldn't
the whole
abuse.
move is designed to protect you, you shithead.
Yeah, it's like such a
You
weird thing to
know,
abuse. It's like, okay, so do you want them to not call it and have your head crushed in? Like
it's
we can
like
easily go that way.
it's like cutting one of your strings on your parachute. It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh, it's like why?
basically.
But no, use the safety net, you
I
idiot.
think so. I think that's the part that upsets me the most because he does that. But then, I mean, it's also kind of a proving ground to the rules. Like I know the Eagles were good, but the Chiefs were terrible. Like they were
They
like
were so
really
bad.
terrible. And
They looked weird. We just swallowed them. Our defense, I was like, I didn't watch that many games this year. I just usually checked in to make sure we won. But after this like playoff run, I'm like, our defense is insane
they were
on
fired
all
up.
the parts. Like every part of the defense is nasty. Nasty.
I felt like the defense should have got the MVP. I mean, like I love Hurts. I
I
thought he
thought
did
they
a
were
great
going to
job.
finally do that.
I thought didn't they do that for the Giants?
They didn't, but they should have.
Uh,
They gave it
that
to
yeah
they either
that
gave
one
it to
Eli.
Eli or the
I think I saw that in your
receiver.
apartment. Yeah, in Manayunk.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and I
Great
think
game.
we argued the same thing then. I'm like, I think that should have gone to the defense. I mean, if the
The
defense
front
scores,
four.
yeah, I mean, if they score more, I mean, the defense almost scored more points than the offense. I mean, in general, that
Dude, they
should be
just
that.
owned Brady the whole game. They
Yeah,
just did consume Brady couldn't do anything.
yeah.
I've never seen
Brady
anything like that.
or Mahomes.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
and
I mean
Brady.
the Giants. The Giants
And
front
the
four
Giants in the
against
Giants
Brady
one.
in
Yeah,
that yeah, like they just were amazing.
yeah.
Um
It was fun
but
though.
yeah, I mean Jalen had some like magical plays, man. Like
Yeah,
he's such a superstar now. Like I'm so happy for him and those players. Dude, the footage, and I think I texted this to you.
yeah,
The access and the footage that we've been getting post Super Bowl has been maybe I'm just not paying attention. I didn't pay attention to it in the past because I didn't care and because it's the Eagles, or maybe it's 2025. But like players on the field with their kids, like just sitting there, like
yeah,
I don't know. You really got to see how like happy this team was to do it, and even like the lip reading videos where you can see what they're saying to each other, and they're all just so positive and like I don't know, man. It's really inspiring
yeah.
to be able to like hear all that stuff and not like just imagine and hope that that's how they are on the field. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. Yeah, yeah.
They're
And
like it's a great group of guys.
no, everything they said was right and good and a good example for kids. I mean, it all
Yeah.
and I felt like the Eagles last time were kind of like that too. I mean, you remember
Hmm.
they were like
Like
donating
underdogs.
they were donating like their whole salary to charities and stuff like that, and then afterwards they donated to charities. They just gave at Christmas this year. They just gave the proceeds from their Christmas album to all the kids in all of Philadelphia. So every kid in every public school in Philadelphia got a toy from the Eagles. Like they got like
Oh
a
my
big, like a
god.
giant, like Squishmallow, or like some other,
I love those things.
some other choice. So to me, that's pretty amazing to have that coordinated and then like be able to give that out to every kid. It's like I think that's awesome. And the kids were like ecstatic for weeks, from getting that. So I don't know. I
That's
just feel
so
like
rad.
when you do things like that and you're not like chasing. I saw a post today that was comparing like Brady and Hurts, like how like Hurts's reaction to winning, where he like thanked God, he thanked his team, like things like where he felt like everything was complete. He's like, yes, it was a great day, but it wasn't me. It was by God and by like everybody here, and the team working so hard
Yeah,
and the team
he
behind me.
seemed
Like it was
so,
just
like, at
so
peace.
calm. Yeah. And Brady's like, all right, like what's next? Like, what do I do? I've won the world. Now what else can I conquer? And it's like, yeah, that's not it. It's not conquering. It's like you just get to go along for the
I
ride.
know. Like, that's how I felt as a fan when we won the first time. I was like, I'm happy we got one. Like,
Yeah.
I can wear a shirt that says they were champs one time.
Right.
Now to be able to get one where there's 2 trophies, it was such a surprise. As this
It's so
team went
good.
on a tear this season, I was like, maybe it's all like fool's gold. The regular season's so like, I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see in the playoffs.
I
And then
was
we just started crushing teams.
the defense was just so fired. At the beginning of the game, I'm like, I think we won this game just from like how they were just flying, like just even like a the kickoff
I
tackle
never
or
saw
something. It was just like
never saw
boom.
Mahomes. Yeah, and they were jumping around. Dude, that's how like we've played football and
Yeah.
it's a thing that It's like on that first play, kickoff return or receiving, if you're kicking or receiving,
Yeah.
no matter what happens, the team that's jumping up and high-fiving everybody, no matter what just happened and ready for the next play, that you can keep that momentum going the whole way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Well,
if you're out there
well,
and you're kind of like, all right, let's get the offense out and start our drive.
right,
You
right.
gotta be like, let's go. Come on, man.
Yeah, when you have like a 3 and out and they're like, and the quarterback's just like trotting, like, all right, kick it. It's a long game.
Yeah,
We
there's
got a
just a
long way to
smile.
go. We got a long way to
So
go.
I need
There's no rush. Yeah. Don't rush it. Don't rush it.
Rye,
But
Rye kept Rye kept texting me the gif of Kylo Ren when he's shooting Luke Skywalker with like all the missiles and all the lasers, and he's like, more, more. Rye's like, we can't let up. We have to keep scoring more.
I mean, think about it though.
I think we
We
got
won
him.
we won the game with like 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Dude.
You know
I
what I mean?
mean,
Like it was
I
over at
I
that point.
think I think when we just it was like it wasn't a like an interception or anything. It maybe was a sack, but it was like we stopped them on third down again, and we were already up 3 scores. I forget, 17-0 maybe. I
Yeah.
was like, we're just pushing the Chiefs around. I've never seen any team play the Chiefs like this.
Yeah.
And Heather's like, babe, it's so early. It's so early. I'm like, I'm objectively watching the game right now, and we're just bullying them on the football field. Like I'm just watching it.
Yeah.
Like it's not what I expected at
And we weren't
all.
blitzing. We weren't blitzing at
No, we
all.
never blitzed.
It was just straight, just manhandling them. And there was
We were
like
just
10
steamrolling them.
sacks. It was ridiculous. It
Yeah.
was crazy how many sacks in a row there were. Like once there was like 3 sacks in a row, I was like, okay, just maybe they should just concede. Like I don't know what you do at that point.
It did seem abusive, almost like towards the end of the
It's a Super Bowl
Washington
though.
game.
It's the Super Bowl though. Like you have to abuse. Like
Right.
you
Yeah,
have
yeah. You have to.
you
This
let
is
up.
when you do take your foot off their neck,
Yeah.
unless you're up by like 4 scores and 7
Yeah.
years ago. But lost it. It was a great game.
And then at the
Yeah,
end we had the second strings got to play and stuff too. That was pretty
that
awesome.
is insane. That was like when the Cowboys used to be up by like 30 against the Bills, and they'd put the backups in. But compared to the first Super Bowl, it came down to the very last second. Like when the ball hit the ground, the clock hit 0 and
Yeah.
the game was over.
Yeah.
And this game was like the opposite. It was so different.
Yeah, this game was
So
like
vastly
7
different.
minutes left. Like we're already pouring the Gatorade, and everyone's like
Yeah, yeah.
thinking about what they're gonna eat later. Even the announcers were like, "Hey, why don't you stick around for a little bit longer? We're gonna have like a trophy
Dude, it
ceremony in 5 minutes or so. Just hang in there."
I'm not like exact, but like I think it was over by like 10:15 or like 10:20. I was
Yeah,
like, this Super Bowl feels so quick. Uh, but it was
yeah.
fun.
Because like
It
10
was like
minutes,
it
like
was
20 minutes
hard to
into
believe.
after halftime, it was done. Well, like you could just see that the Chiefs gave up too. Like Mahomes just started making his pout face, and he just looked like he was trying to find someone to blame or something or complain about, or like I don't know. He just looked like not determined, not like he was playing a Super Bowl. That's for sure. He just like looked like, whoa, what's happening? This isn't fair. He just looked like an annoying kid that you like grew up with. I don't know.
You know,
I don't really like
if
him.
if it wasn't for the
I don't really
Eagles,
know him.
if it wasn't for the Eagles, the Chiefs and the Patriots would have won 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Hmm.
Well, bearing they beat the other team. But yeah, we were like in the middle of the Patriots winning 3, and we
Yeah.
just stopped the Chiefs from winning 3. Pretty amazing.
It's what we were meant for. It's like so anytime
I
a team does back to back, it's like that's the year we have to really believe. We're gonna
right.
just come in and just end it right then. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for the parade. We're having the parade on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Kids are out of school,
I can't wait to watch.
and well, we're gonna try and get down there. I haven't decided where we're gonna go, but we're gonna head down there and
I wonder if, dude, what? I mean, I know it's not uncommon, but I just don't understand the destruction.
I didn't really watch any of the destruction, but
I'm like, we
um,
won.
yeah, it's just drunk people, and it's
Like
normally drunk
fighting
people not
cops,
not even from the city. Yeah, they're just drunk. Like it's just what's going to happen when you have a whole
uppercuts.
bunch of drunk people.
They need uppercuts.
I mean, I remember like
I'm
the
so
in
disappointed.
college. In college, I was at the thing on South Street. Like it was just a random night. I don't. It wasn't even there wasn't even like an event. It just so happened that a lot of people were on South Street, and then it just broke into chaos because like somebody's drunk, they throw a bottle. I remember people started throwing bottles, and that's why we had like
I
plastic
don't.
bottles for like the longest time. Remember, like we had those plastic Miller Lite bottles. It was like right after that. It was in response to like everyone throwing glass bottles at each other at that,
Oh
and
yeah,
and
those
then
plastic Miller, those
they were
brown
terrible. Yeah,
plastic Miller
the
with the
beer just
wide
tasted
mouth.
somehow worse, and it had the vortex or
Oh,
whatever. Um,
stupid.
yeah, it was so dumb. But
I
I
get
mean,
the bottle throwing.
yeah,
I get a glass smash. You can sweep that up. But ripping down the light, like ripping down the street light.
yeah.
It's funny because it's like you're gonna pay for that. It
Well,
will come
maybe
back around, and you
they
will
might
pay
not
for
be
it.
from Philly. They might be
Oh,
from the
true.
suburbs. Yeah, so I'm paying for it. But I mean, people climb them, and then they say don't climb them. It's like, why would you say don't? Just don't even bring it up. Just clean it up. Don't say it. But they say it, and then it's like a dare. So then, as soon as
And
they
there's
get
like the
drunk, they're like,
memes that it's like grease the poles, and it's like okay, but for real, do that.
hmm. Well, when the Phillies won, it made more sense. When the Phillies won, all of Broad Street was lined with big flags of the Phillies players. So it made sense to climb it because you could pull like a Hamels or like a Rollins a
Oh
big
yeah,
flag
yeah,
off
yeah.
of the pole, and that's what
Oh,
people were doing.
collector,
Yeah,
collector.
so people were taking those down. That's why they were climbing the poles. They weren't climbing the pole just to climb it. They were climbing it to collect those. So people were collecting them, and
All
then
right.
and then like I said, they made a big deal about how people were climbing them, and then they said, "Hey, stop." And then they greased them, and then it's like I said, it's like a dare. Then so then everybody tries to climb it or be the one that climbs it again. It's dumb. It's just it's like the batteries.
So
It's going to be like a black
stupid.
eye for us for a while. I don't know.
It's like one of those. Well, I mean, every city does it, but it's just getting like worse and worse. And I'm like, we're in this spiral where I don't know where to yank the brake on it. How I don't, like I don't know how we're gonna know. Like, all right, maybe we don't do that anymore.
Well, we
Like,
just
what
get
is?
stronger light
It's
poles.
just youth. It's just undeveloped brains.
Yeah.
Stronger life.
Yeah, I mean, just stronger ones that don't
Yeah.
fall down when people climb them. That seems like the way to go. And then let the dumb kids fall and let Darwin take it out. I don't know.
I know. I wish it was faster. That Darwin is a
I
slow
mean, I
burn.
remember that. I
Very slow
remember
burn.
having that brain. I remember having that 20-year-old brain.
Same.
Like
Same.
you are not thinking, and it's not even just the alcohol why you're not thinking. Like you're just not. You're invincible. You think everyone's your
And you're
friend,
in group
and
group
yeah,
swarm mentality.
yeah, it's dumb. Yeah. So I mean, it's always going to happen. But like they said on the news, like they were kind of like, yeah, I mean, like that was like a few things, and yeah, some people got out of hand, but it's like for the most part, when you look at the percentage wise of how many people are celebrating, how many people are out, if just like this much is bad stuff happening or people falling or people climbing and stuff, okay, you're talking about like 1% of all the people that showed up or 0.01% of all the people that showed up that are actually causing a problem, right? It's like, I don't know.
No way, dude. I saw like some idiot shooting fireworks and like the thing tipped over and it shot into the crowd
I
like
mean,
a moron.
yeah. Well, I mean, fireworks in the city are every single night. Like there's fireworks all the time. We're just constantly like all the time. Like it's not even 4th of July, sure, but then July 5th, yep, sure, fireworks. July 6th, fireworks. Like all summer long,
They just
fireworks.
drag on.
Yeah, it's just there's fireworks every night. And
August
you play the
15th. Well, it's
game.
July 4th.
Yeah, you play the game. Oh, is that a gunshot or a firework? Right, and
Right.
you
Yeah.
message your neighbors and
Yeah.
you're like, I heard a gunshot. They're like, no, it's fireworks, and you just keep going back and forth until you learn what a gunshot is. And then you're like, oh, wait, that
And
was
then you
no
just
firework. And then you learn not to run outside, right? Like then you learn you don't go running towards it. Like, hey, what was that? Right?
yeah.
You stay away from the windows. So, yeah, I mean, it's the city. I don't know.
It's just like looking back on it, I'm like, I don't remember like because we won, let's go destroy. I'm like, because we won, let's go like hug,
Yeah,
and high five as
I
much as we
mean,
can high five
I think there's a lot of that
strangers.
too, but it's just alcohol.
Yeah.
If they have like the Super Bowl at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But I mean, I think some of the people start drinking at 9 a.m. and then by 9
Yeah.
p.m. they're in blackout. Like there's nothing left of
Ah.
them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and then it's that mob mentality. That's the word I was thinking of.
yeah, the mob
It's like
mentality. Yeah.
if a match falls and something starts burning,
Well, there was people like again for the Phillies because
keep it.
that.
And I'm not just talking about Philly. I mean, every
Oh
city
yeah,
does this,
sure.
and I'm
Yeah.
just confused by it.
I don't understand like the car on fire. Like that doesn't like yeah
I
we did it.
know. I'm
It's
like,
like wait
guys,
that's not related at all. Like
I'm like, is the cop letting you do that, or is he just helpless right now? I can't tell.
I think the cops have like certain rules where they have to like stop interacting. Like like when there's like a chase and it's a highly populated area, they can't continue the chase. They
Yeah,
have
they're
to
just
actually
like, all
like
right,
stop, right?
helicopter,
Yeah.
get it.
So so I think there's certain situations where the cops are just like, all right, like we just sit back. It's not like theirs, So they're like, all right, like let it burn. We'll get another one. I don't know, but at the Phillies thing, everybody started breaking into a luggage store. I remember, and but people were like yelling at them, like there were people going into the luggage store and like stealing luggage out of it. It was like a Toomey store for some reason on the corner of Broad.
Oh yeah.
That's actually where the Wawa went, and now that Wawa shut down. But
Oh.
the Wawa moved in there, and but people were
Wawa
coming out with it.
shutting
But a
down.
lot of people were yelling at them too, like stop, like that's not like there is conscious people, but also what are you going to do? Lose your life because you feel like fighting a drunk guy who is invincible? Like it's a tough thing to stop.
No. Yeah, I know. Dude, I saw this one video and it's like this window, this department store just had like a huge smashed hole in it, and like in that hole was like a window, or it was like a dress,
Yeah.
hanging on one of those like mannequin things. And this dude's just videotaping this woman, just no, not this woman, this dude taking like at least 2 minutes, man, like trying to get it off, and
Oh
finally
yeah.
gets it off and puts it over his shoulder. Like, I remember just like, oh, I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean,
You're allowed to do anything now.
well, I mean, I think there's still echoes from like all the riots and stuff when it was here because like people, I mean, that's why there's no more Models, right? Like they cleared out Models, they cleared out all the sneaker shops and stuff like that. Um, it was it was kind of like crazy, and then there were echoes of it afterwards because any little political thing or anything in the news that was like slightly tempered, it would be like, all right, like let's like they like it would try to get started again because I think everybody just, I don't know if everybody made a profit off that, but like stealing like entire TVs from Target and things like that. Like it was just nuts. So like I think there's still stuff in people's heads for like, oh, like if things get crazy enough, I get free stuff. And I think there's
Mm-hmm.
opportunists like sitting around even for things like this. Like they might not even be like drunk. They're just like there, like watching it, waiting it for it to get to a point where people can't stop it and then just go in and clear, like they go after the liquor stores or
It's
and
like they're
things get cleared.
aware. They're aware when cops have to kind of just be like, all right, we're not gonna make it worse.
Yeah, I mean they also monitor the cops.
Like
So
you said with like the chase.
the cops had to turn off their radios. They had to they had to use a restrictive band because people were monitoring them, and they were getting so overwhelmed. The cops would be like, "All right, we're at this place up on Frankfurt or something like that, and there's 300 people here looting or something." And so they would listen to that and be like, "Oh, okay, most of the cops are up on Frankfurt. I'm going to go down to South Philly and break into something there." And then they'd be like, "Oh, something's happening in South Philly," and then you'd hear them pull it back, and then be like, "All right, we're redirecting to South Philly," and then everybody would clear out of South Philly and go, to West Philly or something. Like it was crazy.
They're watching the watchers.
They're watching the
I'm
watchers. Yeah.
watching the watchers.
So
Well, yeah, that's what I always think of. I'm like, cops should just send a whole bunch of cars in one direction, and then like see if the bad guys go in another direction.
the psychology behind it
you
is
know,
tough. It's like, yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I don't know what you do because you don't want to be like, you could have the whole crowd turn on you. Like if you get enough people upset. So it's tough.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly. Um,
So hopefully the
and
parade goes well. It should be like 11 a.m.
yeah,
So hopefully.
yeah, I know, man. That's a thing. Like, ugh, parades.
The other thing
But
is
like,
like Broad Street is like not as nice as it had been in the past. It's like when you get around like Center City and Broad nowadays, it's just like lots of drug use, like lots of, uh, you know, I don't know if they're homeless but like just
that's
deranged
like Fort
looking people.
Lauderdale,
Yeah, it's like it's nuts, especially around Center
San
City.
Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco. There's definitely more. There's definitely more, but it's a different vibe. It's like very. It's like
Everywhere. They
San
blend in
Francisco. It's like
almost.
yeah, it's like everywhere, but it's like stationary. It's like different.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
bit
I'm like,
more
oh,
active,
mm, um,
but
the
yeah.
plane and the Black Hawk. Well,
Oh yeah.
I mean, did you saw that? And I mean, did you?
How,
It just looks like oops. Was that just like, oh fuck? I thought we had like 10 feet.
I want to ask you another thing. I want to ask you, like on the topic, but I want to ask you something separate. Are you getting any sort of fatigue from from having to be an expert for a new thing every 2 weeks? Like I feel like all of a sudden it's like now I have to be an aviation expert. I have to like know exactly what like how how everyone flies around an airport. Like a few weeks back, I had to know everything about drones and drone flights. We had to know all about vaccines for the last 3 years. Uh,
Oh my god.
RNA. Like,
No,
is it
you
for
come
me?
on,
It's
you
getting
know
a bit.
me.
It's getting a bit more. I'm getting a bit fatigued at trying to become an expert at all these like wildfires. Everybody was an expert at wildfires for a while.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just starting to see this pattern of it's like, all right, we'll just get like everybody needs another thing that they can be experts for.
They weren't experts on, well, they were experts on like the wind and
Right.
the water dumping. Water dumping. Remember that whole thing? Like,
Oh
we need
yeah.
better water dumpers. It's like, this
Yes.
California water dumper sucks. It's like, what the fuck
Yeah.
are you talking about? They're battling fire.
Where did you even learn to water dump?
End of the world shit.
So, but to
But
answer
yeah,
your
that's a
question,
great bit.
it's not even a bit. I'm just like, that's just what
Oh
I'm
yeah, no, I
feeling.
don't. Man, it's like I can't control.
No,
Serenity
I know.
now.
I'm just starting to feel the repetition of it. Like I'm just starting to feel like, all right,
No,
like
that's why it's so funny. It's like almost a joke. It's like
yeah,
it's funny because it's real,
yeah,
and it's a pattern of like, what the hell? Yeah, like these swarms of topics, like not swarms, but like waves of
yeah,
topics, like
yeah,
hit us now for like weeks and a half at a time,
yeah.
and then a new one, like that weird hurricane that like went the wrong way over Florida.
Right.
Everyone's like, what is going on? This is the mother. And it hit land and it was like depression,
Yeah. It was like,
flooding in Fort Myers. No one cares.
bring an umbrella.
Just kidding.
Um,
Yeah. Wind.
yeah. I mean, for the Blackhawk, I don't know. I mean, it looked like it's like probably busy airspace. Probably don't want to be flying around there. Probably some rules were broken, and then flying directly into another plane coming in. Like I don't know. It just seemed kind of.
I
Like.
saw
Yeah, I don't know.
this one comment and it was like, why even have their training on it going on at night? It makes no sense. I was like, are they doing missions in the day?
Yeah.
Most of those Blackhawks are in nighttime. They sneak in and they murder leaders of terrorist groups.
But maybe do it in a place that's not right next to a major airport. But I mean, the other thing about airports is if you sit by an
Like, get
airport,
that Albuquerque or something.
I mean, it's not rocket science really. Like you see the planes are all in a line, right? Like if you're up high enough and
Yeah,
like you're
they follow
watching
the
the
same
planes,
things.
there's it's just like waiting in line for a
It's like
water
streets.
fountain. There's nothing. Yeah, they're just streets. So it just seems odd that you'd want to cross that street without thinking. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't
Uh huh.
I'm in training. I'm training for a marathon. I'm not running across the street during a red light. You know what I mean? I'm going to think about it at least, right?
Right.
So to me that's
That's
the
true.
oddest part. Like why would you fly across the street? Whether like you think you can make it or not, it just seems like an unnecessary movement of like where you're going. Like I don't know. Whether the instruments
Like,
failed, whether like messages failed, that's like its own thing. But
it's like military. What the hell? Like that's embarrassing, I think.
well, I mean it's
How
a
could you do that? How could you
you
let
know
that happen?
I mean the other thing is it's such a cliche. Like I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but it's such a cliche like cover up. Like in every single movie when something goes wrong or like aliens land, the very first thing everyone scripts into the dialogue is it was a training exercise that went bad.
Oh,
so,
I know.
so,
Yeah, I
so
know.
to me
It
it
was a
just seems a
training
bit
exercise that went wrong.
yeah, it was a training exercise. Quick, get it on the news. Like we need to cover this up. Tell them it was a training exercise. And it just always is a training exercise. So the fact that they were like, it's a training exercise, I'm like, All right.
Like, but it's a really dangerous training exercise. Why would you train so dangerously? Training's
It's
kind of supposed to be like not as dangerous as the real thing.
yeah. This was like
Like a
beginner
pretend
boot
version.
camp when like a live grenade got mixed in with the other ones or something. You know, like I don't know. It just seemed
Yeah, man. It just seems too dumb to be
around
oops.
civilians too. Like it just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
And then that other plane that crashed in Philly.
Yeah.
Dude, I woke up. Listen to me. I woke up and that was, pardon me. And it was, and I grabbed my phone, just check what time it is. And the headline is small aircraft lands on Cotman Avenue. And I was like, Cotman Avenue? I was like, Philly? I was like, it's probably like another country. And then you texted me.
Cotman Avenue, Baghdad. Yes.
Israel.
Yes.
No, I was like, holy, did you hear it? Did you feel it?
No.
I
I
mean, the
mean,
videos
it's
are
pretty
like
far away from us.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it was
Yeah. It
close to
kind
you,
of comes down like a
but I
fireball.
don't know. Yeah, it exploded, dude.
Yeah.
It bounced. That happened, and then boom! Like after that, the
I feel like
gasoline.
it looked like it
That
was like
thing
on fire
shot into the
beforehand or
ground.
something. Yeah. It looked like it was already on fire
It
or
was
something.
maybe smoking, yeah.
Yeah.
But and another odd thing, there's no data box. There's
No
no,
black box?
you know, yeah. In one of those planes that we've been talking about,
Oh, really?
the one in Philly and the one over DC. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, this is like to drag us on to season 3, and then we realize that there is a black box. Like, come on, how isn't there a black box? Dang it.
I mean, the only other thing, like if we want to go down a rabbit hole, right? Like I think of like the microprocessor that we sold to Iran for nuclear reactors to keep them like so that we could shut down their nuclear reactors. It had like a back door in it. I forget what it was called. It was some silly name, like dog or something like doggy or something like that. Anyway, there's like a nickname for it. I'm sure if we search the internet you find it. But there was like this kind of back door in
Nerds.
it where you'd make them like overspin and it would shut down the reactor. So remotely through this like little thing, like it was just like a little controller that you wouldn't even think about, right? It would be like it would be like all like the little controllers, you know, on the street lights nearby or something like that. Like you don't really think about it. It's like old technology. You hear it clinking around in there, you know, it's like red light clink clink, you know, like these mechanical moving things, but they're controlled by this like little microprocessor. And you could think that the microprocessor is air gapped, that it's separate from any networking or anything like that. But in this case, it had a backdoor and we were able to kind of always control it. And when they got out of hand, we just turned it on and it shut them all down. Right. And I feel like, you know, we are in a situation where a lot of microprocessors and a lot of things are coming from China. Like if not 100% of it, like 98% of it is coming from China. And you know, there could be a back door to some of these things. I mean, like any webcam or like any security camera I've ever bought has been exposed with a backdoor password in it, and so I've always kept anything that I can't really like from a company I can't trust. I've always kept it like on lockdown in my network, but I'm a paranoid person. So anyway, so I do, you know, there could be something where it's like one little piece and all of these airplanes and stuff is just getting like, you know, turned off and that's enough to cause these crashes. Like it could be something simple, you know, where it just shows the wrong altitude or it, you know, like one little thing's off and now all of a sudden those things are just getting switched all over the place and they're going off in random ones. It could be the same microprocessor in several pieces in different pieces of different planes, right? But that's going to be my guess.
It's funny.
Put my dollar on that.
It's like, digital versus analog. It's like they all break. but you just don't know when or what's gonna like happen or what part of anything is going. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm just like thinking like a digital clock, versus like just the regular one, the wind up one, battery powered.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like
like
a
you've got
piece is going
mechanical
to break
moving parts.
eventually, and you just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
it's,
it's like
and with the
with
digital
that,
one,
it's super.
well, with the digital one, you're getting hit by like tachyons all the time, right? So, and they're just changing like a bit, like a 0 to a 1 somewhere in your computer, and that's happening constantly. Like we're getting showered with them, and they're passing through
What's
the
a
earth.
tachyon?
Like
The
it's
Matrix.
like a particle in space that is doesn't have a mass. It just travels. It just travels straight through. So, but as it does, it seems to affect things that are electronic. So like you get showered with it, and your laptop every once in a while is getting hit with them, and they're very small, but they can alter like the settings or anything stored in memory on your computer. And normally the computers are made to anticipate it and correct it, so
Mhm.
they check and they're like, all right, like this one should obviously be a 0 and not a 1, and everything's back to normal. But if enough hit, or like a solar flare hits, like those are the things that kind of send us off a bit more. So digital is just as vulnerable as analog. In most cases, analog could be a bit safer, but
Right.
I don't know.
It doesn't have to worry about invisible flaws.
No, no.
It's just usually wear and tear
Unless the
or
analog
faulty
thing unless the
filter.
analog thing has like one little microprocessor that's turning it on and off, then right, then you've got a digital and an analog fail point.
Oh, well then get that thing out of there.
Good luck.
Bypass the compressor.
Good luck finding it. Yeah.
I mean, so you're saying possibly a Chinese faulty microprocessor could like make that Black Hawk think it was 4 degrees lower than it really was, and
I mean, I don't want to single out China, but just because we've recently put tariffs on, and then these things start happening,
foreign.
I'm wearing a conspiracy theory hat. I'm not. I have friends in China too, so I'm not saying that it's like everybody is bad. I'm just saying that there could be something like that. We do it too. We did it to Iran. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Right.
like, we did it to Iran. Like somebody else could do it to us. That's all I'm saying. So,
Makes sense. Worthy conclusion. But
oh
yes, not pointing fingers.
no,
Um and yeah, God, the one in Philly, like it looked weird.
yeah.
Um a whole bunch of
There,
planes catching on fire, trying to take off. I'm like, I am glad I don't have anything coming up soon.
there
I
was like
hope
a
you
little
don't
kid
either.
that there was like a little kid that was he's recovering now. I think he's at CHOP, and he like got in front of like the debris to like save his sister, but he got like a piece of shrapnel to his face, and so they had to have like surgery. He had to have like
I heard.
surgery, and yeah, but I think he's doing all
You
right.
know, you see those postings on the internet and I'm like, is that fake? And I'm like, I hope it's real, but it's for sometimes those cool stories, I'm like, someone's just bullshitting to get me to click on it, and it's going to be like, come down to Palm Spring. It's going to be an
As
ad for
as long
something.
as long as there's no GoFundMe along with it, yeah, I normally believe it. But if there's a
Yeah,
GoFundMe for
go
it, I'm
fund
like,
me.
I don't. Sorry, I'm out.
Um,
If I see him,
mm-mm.
I'll make him. I'll make him a sandwich or something. But I'm not. I don't deal in monies.
I'll ask him how he's doing.
Yeah, I'll give him a high five. Tell him good job. Have a catch with him. Yeah.
And
I don't think I have any.
anything else?
I got the
Any stories?
Yeah, I went to the open mic. I did not get selected for Tuesday, so I signed up again for next Tuesday. And next Tuesday, I'm also going to go. So if you don't get picked for the online form, then you can go there in person between 6 and 7 and put your name like in a hat to possibly get added
Uh-huh.
onto the list. Because I think people like don't show
Oh.
up and stuff like that. So
Oh.
yeah, very nervous about it. But watching it,
Oh.
made it easier to like
Yeah.
see the full range of it, right? Like there was
Mhm.
definitely some good comics, and everybody does 3 or 5 minutes. Like that's it. Like nobody did more than
Right.
five.
It's like
Most of
2
the
jokes,
people,
3 jokes.
yeah, like 2 or 3 jokes, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and there were some good comics that obviously had um, were comfortable and had been up there before and were telling jokes they've told like a bunch of times. But the range on it was just incredible because some of them got up. So I think I'd put it in this category. Like I think the bad, maybe like 3 or 4 categories. Well, there was one guy who just stood on his own. I'll talk about him in a second. But there was people that went up that were just high as hell and
Ugh.
were not forming words, and they were just like there. It was just like a ramble of like you see the chicken, like you see them, you see the chicken, and we're like
Oh, man.
yeah, like it was
See,
rough.
that's
I was like, well, I can do better
see,
than
that would give
this,
me
right?
confidence.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that gives me confidence. I'm like, if this how I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I would
have something.
highly I would highly suggest going to an open mic, because
It's basically like, is my stuff going to kill or not? Because I know it's gonna at least get a chuckle because it's at least sort of silly.
I think, I mean, being in the audience, it wasn't like a huge audience, which kind of makes it more difficult, right? But I think no matter what, the audience was
Mm.
on the comic side. So there were some people just saying
Yeah, they wanna
things that
laugh.
were things that weren't even jokes. They were just kind of like silly phrases. Like one lady just kind of came out and said some silly phrases. One lady came out and just made up a whole bunch of um, what was it, fortune cookie sayings, and they weren't funny, but like people still laughed because it was just obscure, it was just like nonsensical, but she had a format and she stuck with it and she got to the end and people
This is
clapped,
at
like,
Helium.
yeah, this is at Helium. So
Dude, I've heard so many comedians say it's the best crowd.
well,
They, like, have the best sense of humor. And that sounds like what you're saying, like,
it was
I've
good.
been in crowds, and I'm like, I feel this crowd really just on the comedian side, and it's just like, "Just come on. Just, we're
I
gonna
mean,
we're gonna laugh for you."
the other thing is, I don't think there's going to be like a
Almost.
I don't think there's really going to be a heckler on um like on an open mic night, like seems kind of ridiculous. It would be like an adult like going through T-ball and like smacking, like playing one on one with like a
Yeah.
5-year-old and smacking them. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm not ready for this yet. I
Oh,
don't really know how to
a
handle stuff.
heckler would be
But
fun.
so there was like the high people, and then there was people that were just using it for therapy, which was weird. Um, but I understand it. But they hadn't quite found the funny in it yet. They were only
That's
saying the
so
sad
funny.
parts. Like they were only saying like
That's like
actual sad things.
the Neil Brennan movement, how he like used that as like his stand up kind of shtick
Yeah.
for the first two at least.
Well,
And now he's just like okay because he's done so much therapy.
yeah. I mean,
He's like, I'm not sad anymore. I don't have sad jokes anymore.
you could make it, but a lot of the ones that I saw were just they would just say the sad thing, but they didn't have a
Yeah.
joke that went with it. They were like, oh, like somebody killed themselves, and you'd be like, ah.
Right.
And they'd be like, it's okay, people,
Right.
it's okay. I'm like, yeah, but you need to say like one more thing, just like one more thing
Right.
to to
Yeah.
to, to
There's
break the tension.
something
You just kind of hurt all of our stomachs, and
something
then you didn't say
missing.
anything else, and that alone isn't funny unless you've wrapped it in like something else that's like a bit funnier or something, or you said something positive and then like I don't know, it just didn't feel like the structure was there. So anyway, but again, all these people were up on that stage, right? So I'm not knocking anybody. I have not been up on that stage yet.
Yeah.
So like even the
Braver than
high
me.
people were up there, right? So I'm like, maybe on a better night they kill or something. So definitely not knocking people. I'm just saying what like the categories that I noticed. So it was high people. It was people using it strictly as therapy, and then there were like good comics that were just kind of like working through material, which I thought was fun. And then one guy, and then maybe like two guys. One guy got up and he started just ripping into the crowd. Like he was saying jokes, but they weren't very funny. And then he started just saying how horrible we all were. He's like, "Oh, you guys are a terrible crowd. Like you're horrible." And we were kind of like, I'm like,
And that's
"Why
it?
would you?"
He didn't have like he was just like, "Look at you, you smell, or you're fat, or you're ugly," like, or he's just like, "You're horrible."
Yeah, he was just like, "You're horrible," and then he was like, "No, no, no, you're good. No, actually, you're just terrible. Like these jokes are funny. You should be laughing." And it was just kind of like,
Like trying to be Larry David.
sort of, but he
It's
just wasn't.
funny. It's
He
funny.
he just wasn't saying anything that was good. And then
He
another guy
wasn't
got up,
being funny.
and then another guy got up, and he was like criticizing. Like I think he was just trying to share his opinion on stand up, and he was like, let's start off with some. Yeah, it actually started off very funny because he said like, let's start off with some crowd work, and then like as he started going into it, he just kind of like abruptly stopped, and that kind of got a laugh from everybody. But then he was like, he went on like a rant, like crowd work isn't real humor, like it doesn't count, and I'm like, okay, like
Oh my
it still takes
god,
skill. It would be
dude!
like
If
you're a
people are
card
coming,
magician.
I hate that shit. It's like if he's because that's like a Matt Rife beef because that's what he does and that's how he
Yeah, I
got
think
popular.
they're big on Matt Rife right now. Like
And it's like,
they kept
yeah, he
commenting on
sells
him.
out everywhere he goes. So cry,
It's just like how
cry because
everyone
he
hated
sells out
Dane Cook.
all
Like
stadiums.
I'm like he's
Right.
got Madison Square Garden filled, but okay.
Doesn't
The
matter if you
problems
think
with
he's
him,
funny, old
right?
comedian. Right. It's like when people say like Hulk Hogan's a terrible wrestler. It's like, I mean, I'm talking about back in the day. It's like, doesn't have to be.
I don't think people even realize how much some of those comics changed the culture too. I mean, like Dane Cook came up with the phrase for Karen. Karen wasn't a 2020 thing. It was from Dane Cook from way back when. We just all had it stored in our brains. And then it came out again.
It's so true. It was like he came out with it and then like less than 15 years later it was like it like found its way in and it spread all over the internet and it just
Yeah.
became that name
Yeah.
for
It
a substitute for biatch.
it was just so I mean, and he had his own style and his weren't like real jokes. He kind of just would lead you down a path of funny silliness, you know? But
Yeah,
that's
they were
if
funny
people wanted it,
stories.
that's good enough. Like that's the thing. It's like and Matt Rife,
And
if
he
he
came
can
along.
work the crowd, that's good.
And dude, Rife is just like Dane Cook, where like he used MySpace, and it was during a time where everybody was like, there aren't any really big comedian. Like, there's no huge comedian right now.
Right.
And Matt Rife did the same thing, but it was during the pandemic. He used the internet, he used TikTok and his crowd work. I've never listened to one joke Matt Rife has ever told,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, it
Like,
also
it
makes
doesn't
sense
matter
from a
how he makes people laugh.
it makes sense from a you know, your material. Like you're if like you don't want to post your material to the internet because then it's out there, then you that's all you post is your crowd work. So if you can get by with that, then it works out perfectly because then the people get to see fresh material every time they see your show, and then it's not like if you listen to the comedy album and then go to the show just to hear the comedy album live, it's like it's okay, but you're it's probably not going to be as funny, if you've already heard it. So to me, it just makes logical sense to just do
Yeah,
it
and
that
there's
way.
some comedians who, I mean, actually, most comedians are good at it. Some are better than others, and it's just like whatever you want. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I think like it's becoming kind of like a trend, and some comedians like don't want to do it, and I think that's probably what you heard from that guy.
yeah.
because it's tough. You got to be like improv comedian.
Yeah, and you got to be smart too, because you might be dealing with somebody who's very smart in the crowd, and like you have to be wittier than them, right? Like you could lose. I think that's the danger of it. Like you could lose. Like if you're just telling jokes, like the only way you lose is if you put the mic down, right? Like even if you don't get laughs, like you can blame the refs or whatever, right? Like you're still playing the game, but
You
when
have the
you're doing
microphone.
you've got the microphone, but when you're doing the crowd work, you're letting that was oh you know what that was another thing that kept happening, which I did not like. People kept, or the comedians kept like asking the crowd something, but then like we were kind of in a mode where it's like, oh no, we're listening to you, like we're being quiet to hear you, and then the comedian would kind of say something rhetorical, like oh,
Oh.
not just like how's everybody doing, but like asking like a specific question, but not really like looking at anybody, and then everyone's like, am I supposed to respond? Like I don't want to get kicked out, like it was kind of this weird situation, and then the
It's
comic would
like
get
what
mad because it's like, why is nobody talking? I'm like, we're not
I
supposed
remember
to.
when we used to do the other podcast when it was four of us, and early on I would like just ask a question and it would just be like dead air, and I'd be like, oh, fuck. And so like soon I'd be like, Agnew, what do you think about, or DeWitt, what did you think
Right.
about? And I'd be like, I gotta like pinpoint someone, or they're
Yeah,
all gonna be like,
that's the thing. Yeah. So it was kind of a mixed bag. There were some people that were good, but it was definitely good for inspiration to try to figure everything out and get up there. So I spent some time
yeah.
the other day I recorded uh I went through everything I had written out and I recorded 25 minutes of it. Like it wasn't tight. It was just I just said it all. And then
Hmm.
um and then I listened back to it and edit, and like listening back to it I was like, "Oh yeah, take that part out." That's like it's just there's no joke in it. Like it's kind of like writing an essay. You've got to write the essay and then all right, now you've wrote 2 pages, like take everything that's in the 2 pages and write it down to one, and you kind of keep it down until it gets condensed.
Yeah, trim it all down.
But it won't matter until I actually get out there either. So,
I know, yeah.
but you should do it too. I mean,
Oh
it's like
man.
it's at least go to
No, I
one.
can't do it. I can't do it because the anticipation, even if I like commit to it, the anticipation is just not something I can handle right now.
Maybe
I
just
would
go to
be
one.
so like over the top anxious, and
But I mean, as an
whew,
audience member, like go to one as an audience, go to an open mic as an audience member.
yeah,
You can do
yeah,
that.
that might get me the motivation.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I did it, because I'm like, what is this lion's den I'm walking into? Like I don't want to, because it was weird. Like there was a when we're all like in the bar before the show, I was like, is this like me and all the comics? Like, am I going to be like the only one in the sitting in the audience seats, and it's just going to be me? Like I think for the most part, it's just like the other comics watching the other comics
Yeah,
perform. Like it's not.
right.
I mean, the tickets were $5. They were basically giving them away. So
Yeah,
there was tons of empty seats around me. Like we weren't. It wasn't prime time, and
yeah,
like I think even towards the end, like some of the comics were like bussing the tables and stuff. So I don't even like what if you go to it, it might be a bit more humbling. And I think the problem I had was like I'm looking at like finished specials and listening to podcasts of people that have been professional comedians for 30 years, and they're talking about how
right,
they're just
right.
cranking out hours of I'm working on my next hour. That's great, and
Yeah,
I think it's just like see it, and then you'll know where you land in the range. You're like you'll see it, and then be like, well, I can get up for a minute and say something. Like there was people that didn't even say anything. Like they just got up and were like, uh, uh, and then they got off. like before they even got the signal that they were done. Like, and they were only supposed to be up there for 3 minutes, So some people went up for like 30 seconds. Some people didn't even show up and then showed up late. Like it's not, it's
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of bad.
it's kind of like there's no real failure to be had, in all honesty. Like there's no, like you'll get up there, you'll say some stuff and it won't matter who you're saying it to. There's not like scouts like in the audio, it's not like there's nobody
Right.
rating you.
Who
There's nothing happening.
I just don't want to I that like it's just not for me. It was like I kind of like started writing, like I was like I'm going to write jokes, I'm going to get up there and do it. And it did like some things usually do with me where it like consumed my brain. And I was like, is everything a joke? And I started like turning everything into like a joke in my head. And how can I turn this into a joke?
Yeah.
And it drove me nuts.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't really want to do this and like keep doing it and like rise and like get better. It's just not, it's just, for some reason in me, it's just not in me,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
But you, man, it's
Well,
definitely in you.
we'll see.
The fact you went all the way there, then I feel like the hardest
I
part
just
is
went
over.
and saw a show. I didn't go.
Doesn't
I
matter.
didn't sign up.
You saw the place where like you know how to project your
I
voice
saw the
enough
guillotine.
so that people can hear you.
I saw the guillotine. I was like, oh, that's what a beheading is. I'll try that next week. I'll see if I can escape it.
I'll try that next week.
Yeah.
Well, dude, that thing that you said, you got to clip that and whittle that down and maybe add a thing or two to like how you have to be an expert on a new thing ever since the pandemic. I feel like every month we have to be an expert on.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
And then, what was like there was like a really good one. Drones, plane, air. What did you say? Aircraft. The first thing was the best. The opening piece of that. I'm exhausted, and I'm like, I am exhausted watching people be like, "This is a big deal." Never mind.
Yeah, I'm done.
Because I'm like, we'll see if it's really a big deal every time. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, it's like
everything. I'm like, we'll see. Like you said, you're like, everyone's freaking out about Trump. It's like, he hasn't even been in. He hasn't done a thing. Nothing has changed. And how do you know?
I like it recently.
Let's just wait and see, you moron.
People now are like, we didn't vote for this. And it's like, this is like exactly what he said he was going to do. So it's like, I don't know. It seems like it's like so far. I mean, it's still goofy. It's still him and it's still wacky, but it's not unheard of what he's doing. Like a lot of the stuff he's doing, he's like, I'm gonna fix the
it's like he said, we're gonna go to the Capitol.
Fix this thing. It's like I don't know if he's fixing it the right way. I don't know if he's doing everything the right way, but he's sure as hell trying something, so it's not
pissing off Canada and Mexico is always a good start.
That was hilarious. That was like a bad poker game. Angry. That was so he's like, funny. Never mind.
I know he put down his cards were way too weak.
Well, like Tosh had a good joke about that, right? Like he was like, the greatest. Canada has the greatest border wall and anywhere. They've got the United States. So it's like it's what is Canada gonna do? Like I think Trump's making the right move to like just start taking it. Like he's playing it like he's playing Monopoly.
Well, I think he is.
He's like, I'll take Greenland for. And I'll charge you $8 rent. I'm going to build houses on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to,
but
buy Canada and mortgage
ruining relationships is never good.
But I mean, what did they do?
I think did that.
They all complied. They were like, "Oh yeah, all right, never mind. You're not going to do it.
Hold on.
You're not going to do it. Okay, we'll take some refugees." Like it was so weird. It was like a weird bluff.
Now hold on.
Give me a
Now
second.
just hold on.
Hey, you
For
just
what? Your army? Oh, that's right. You don't have an army.
all the military aged people moved here. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but it's just kind of funny.
Well, I'm waiting for everything to get cheaper.
I do want to see all this money. Like, I'm enjoying watching the money stuff. I would definitely, if I lived in DC, I would definitely be working for Doge. That just seems like so much fun to go through someone else's books just to find nonsense in it. Like, I love that. Like, I love that for any company I worked for. Like, I loved going through stuff and being like, what did you spend this on? You know, like
Oh
what
man.
do you need this thing for? Oh, I really need it. There's one right here. Why don't you just use that one? Well, that one's not pink. You know, like people come up with stupid reasons for buying things. And whenever you looked at like a government contract, it was always insane. It was like, well, we need one, but we have to order it in thousands. It's like, well, we
Right.
could just go to Office Max. We don't have a deal with Office Max. It's like, what? So
You're
we're
the
gonna
government, you idiots.
so we're gonna
You should have a
spend
deal with everyone.
no, but I mean, like that's the thing. It's like you they make a contract, and they did this like at some of my jobs too, like where they made a contract with a company, and then the company was charging us more for the product, and I was like, well, I could just go down to the store, like let me use the corporate credit card. I could go down to the store and get it for half price, and they're like, no, we have a deal with this company. And I was like, what sort of deal? It doesn't make any sense. They're charging us twice as much as it is at Best Buy. Why don't I just go there and go get it? It doesn't like how
Why
does
don't
this
I
deal
just
work
go to
out
my
for
room
us?
right now, get my gun, and we can shoot them together?
We could it could be a nice father son thing we do together.
Yeah. Right.
It
Yeah,
so
it's so
I'm sure
dumb,
there's some of
the
that.
red
Yeah,
tape we put in front of ourselves.
it's so
Oh
funny.
no, those are our rules. Well, then change them. We made them.
Whoa, whoa,
Idiots.
whoa! We can't just change it. It's the way we've done it. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh God.
But I mean, like all these taxes that we
Evolution.
pay and stuff, I do like. I feel like all of it should be completely transparent. Like there should be maybe like some secret stuff, but it should be like 10%, right? And we should maybe at
Right.
least know how much money's going into it. It's like if 80% is
Hmm.
into secret things, it's like, well, roads aren't secret and trains aren't secret, right? And education isn't secret, right? Like, can we shake it out just a little bit, right? So,
I'm in a secret. Police aren't. Yeah, right. Like, come
like, I
on.
just,
Like, show us a freaking pie chart.
yeah, like, what are you using it for? How much is everyone getting paid? Like, that is public information. Like, I just want to see it. It's so funny. It's so funny. So I've been enjoying
What
that.
is Doge? Is
The
Doge like
depart
a crypto thing?
it's yeah, but he figured out that
Dogecoin.
but it was like the Doge um, Department of Government Efficiency. So he used the acronym to make it.
Oh,
So it's also a joke, which I like. I like that there's like
yeah.
humor in all
Most of
these
them are all
things.
jokes.
I like a
Yeah.
lot of
Well, yeah.
Elon's humor. Like having the speeds in the Tesla be like space balls. So it's like, you know, he puts in like ludicrous speed, and plaid is the fastest speed, you know, in the Teslas. So I like that kind of humor is funny to me. The fact that you can just like take something and like that you find funny and then actually make it a serious funny, you know, like because it
Yeah,
actually
that's like the
goes super
best.
fast and it's plaid. It's like who would think that that would be the scale based on a silly movie from the
I,
80s?
f- I feel like ever since like the internet blew up, like 2000 or whatever, like the names of things have been like all kind of silly. I
Yeah,
mean, like Twitter,
yeah,
like that's,
yeah.
and it's been more enjoyable to see
I like it.
instead of like some made up word that's makes no sense, like Starbucks.
Well, it got really boring. I mean, I remember like in the late '90s, everything was like calm, like or like net, like something like it would be like net zero, net com, net. Like it was just these like really boring internet names because they were like, look,
Oh,
everything's net,
right.
like
Yeah.
everything's calm. We make it calm, like everyone's gonna love it. Like
Skynet.
Sky, yeah, like everything just was that, and then now it's getting a bit more creative. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the generation before us, like started being in charge. They started making businesses and just naming them after like Led Zeppelin songs or AC/DC song, like lyrics or like a word in a song, like just the strangest things. Even restaurants now are like just bizarre instead of just like a name. It's like, the fat chicken or
Yeah,
something like that, or
right.
the gutted pig,
The Krabby Dick.
something
Yeah,
strange. Yeah, right.
that's in Delaware. Krabby Dicks.
I think I've
Yeah,
been there.
yeah. I think some of those were like
Um,
in places
but
like Key West or Bourbon Street, like where they could get away with it, and you could sell a silly
Mhm.
T-shirt, and then it's like now it's like starting to like
Mhm.
spread everywhere else.
Right. That's so true. Yeah, like what else is there? There's some really weird, like some guitarist from some, famous band started like a burger restaurant, and I think they kind of have like maybe their franchises or
Mm.
multiple locations or whatever. And it's like such a weird name. I
Yeah,
can't remember it now,
then it
but
failed its purpose.
it's better than like Backyard Burger.
Hmm.
True. Uh, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah,
Instead of
no,
such generic burger place,
you
it's
just
like
you
it's
just
like Joey and the Fishmans or
yeah,
something like that, like something
right,
like a band. It sounds like a band name
yeah.
for a
But if
burger
you read
joint.
it, like you're like you wouldn't know what they sell.
If
Like
I
it
say
could be like an insurance company. You're like, wait, what?
it's like a jeans commercial, you're like,
Yeah.
what did they
Pools
tell me to
Unlimited.
buy?
We sell
I didn't
barbecue
see it.
stuff. Yeah. Um, you reminded me though of when the Washington fans took over the Hard Rock, which is by far the least attended restaurant in Philly by people from Philadelphia. Like the Hard Rock
I know
Cafe.
it's like the
That's
tourist trap.
It's like that, or you might go there when you have jury duty because it's right there and they give you a stipend for it. And like
Oh
that
god,
would be
a
like the only
stipend.
reason that you might go there, just because it's like directly across from where jury duty is. So yeah, that might be one reason to go there. But
Mm,
it's so
the
funny.
Hard Rock Cafe,
They're like
Philadelphia.
they're
Do they
like
have the shirts?
yeah, they have, I think they have all the stuff, but it's
Those
been there
old school
forever. I
shirts,
mean,
I love them.
I think remember we took a class trip there once. And that's like where we ate for the class trip because it's like right on the
Oh,
Reading
that's
terminal.
in New York. It was in New York.
Oh, was that one in New York? Okay, yeah. Oh
Yes,
yeah.
because I got the shirt and then lost it.
It used to be so fun
I
to
had it for
collect
one
those.
day.
Yeah.
Kate McGrady stole it. I want it back, Hallman.
Get it. Send it to me. Yeah, they always steal the shirts. I've lost more shirts to girls. Anyway, but yeah, good week. Good week. Oh, I made the baseball team, so that was cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Went through
What
tryouts.
number did you decide on?
I ended up on 11. Um, Rollins. So it was
That's right, J Roll
yeah.
or Kevin Stocker.
Hmm.
No, was he 19? I
No, I think
think he
you
was 19.
no.
Mariano Duncan. No, he was. Well, Morandini was 11 that year. Mickey Morandini. No, he was. Damn it!
Mickey Morandini.
Who was 11? Who was 11 on the 93 Phillies? I don't have anything activated.
I think Kevin Stalker was.
I think he was 19.
Mariana Duncan was 17.
Mariano Duncan, the happy man.
No, Kruk was 19 until he moved to 29. Kruk was 19. In like the
I thought he
early
was 11. I thought he was
in like
99.
that was Mitch Williams. Um
Yeah, but didn't they trade?
no.
Didn't they trade for like a case of beer?
Oh, maybe
Yeah,
for like a
yeah.
game or something.
Kruk was 99.
When was Kruk 90? I don't remember Kruk being 99.
And Mitch Williams was like, I'll give you a case of beer if you get me to trade to 99 because I think it like hassle.
Oh.
I think I could have just made that up. Could have just made it all up,
I don't remember any
which
of
would
it.
be pretty
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
if
I
I
mean,
did
they
just
were
make it
goofy
all
like
up.
that. You watch the videos of them like
Right.
in like the like in the room like where you get like taped up and they're just like smoking cigarettes and like drinking beer after the game. I'm like, you guys have a game
I
tomorrow,
know.
you know?
I know. God, they were so awesome. They were such like a movie. Like, has 30 for 30 done the 93 Phillies? I don't know. I hope not. I hope
I
like
don't think so. But the what
Scorsese's last 5-hour movie is about the 93
I know
Phillies.
like whatever it takes dude and um the other
That
there's
one's a
I forget what the other
heartbreaker.
one's called. Both of those videos are on YouTube. Those VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Um I was actually just going through posters from my room with Leah the other night because he was like talking about posters, and I was like, I think I still have some, and I had like some of the old veteran veteran stadium giveaway posters, and I was like unraveling them, and it was like Terry Mulholland and Tommy Green and like Dale Murphy and Lenny Dykstra like together, and it said like Mr. Clean and Doctor Dirt, you know, like it had all these
Oh,
old
yes, I
posters.
love that poster. God, that poster was so good. They
Yeah,
were
it was
like
like
all dirty. Well, Dykstra was.
that was the last year they had the maroon. Yeah, because 93 is when they got the new, like they went back to the old new red
Right,
Philly stuff.
right. The red with like the soft P.
Yeah.
Uh, Here's why we
Oh, you
can't
got it.
pinpoint who number 11 is. There was no number 11.
There you go.
I
I
knew it.
feel
I was like,
vindicated.
me and Fran drew every single jersey of every single player, and that will never leave my brain. I could like
Yeah.
pull any player's number from that team, and I was like, there is no 11.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Because it was Dalton
Yeah, Dalton
was
10,
10,
Morandini 12.
Morandini 12, Randy Reddy 22. Was Mariano Duncan was 17, and Kevin Stocker was 19. Is that what you're saying? I feel like Kevin Stocker changed a few times because he came up and down.
Yeah, yeah. Thigpen was 18. Ricky Jordan was 17.
Ricky
And then
Jordan.
Mariano Duncan, the happy man.
What about Wes
And
Chamberlain?
then Dave
Let's see.
Hollins, 15.
Dave Hollins.
Chamberlain
Yeah.
was 25. 25 or 45?
No, that was Wilt.
Chamberlain was
That was
20,
Wilt Thompson.
25.
No,
Yeah.
that was Wilt Thompson. 25 was Wilt Thompson.
And
Wes
then
Chamberlain
21.
Wes Chamberlain was third base. He
40?
replaced Hollins when Hollins got hurt. I can't
Wes
remember his
Chamberlain
number.
played right. He played right field too. He played like all over.
I feel like he was like 8 or
Remember he had
something.
that catch where he flipped over the wall.
Wes Chamberlain? No, it was Milt Thompson. Wes Chamberlain didn't play outfield.
Milt Thompson had that. Whoa! Remember that one? Oh,
And Von Hayes was out.
his like ribs disconnected or something.
Yeah.
Von Hayes. He was
He was
gone.
he was 9. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he wasn't on 93. He was like
And Dykstra was
traded
4.
or gone. Yeah, Dykstra 4.
He's a sad story. Like he like texts people for rides places. He's like, I'll give you autographs if you give me a ride to like the hospital or something. Like he's like really down on his luck. I don't know if he's turned it around. I remember hearing like a thing about him, and he was kind of just like,
In like the early 2000s, it was like Lenny Dykstra has all these successful used car dealerships. And then
yeah,
you find out he was like embezzling or robbing or, he was doing something
yeah,
illegal with
he was
money.
doing something wrong with
It's
it.
like,
Yeah.
Lenny lost it all.
I remember when
Dude.
like we had like Dickie Knowles came to our school and nobody knew who he was. And we were like we all wanted like the 93 like we wanted like the current Phillies, but he was like talking to us about like alcoholism or something like that. And we are like, this isn't like we want to have a catch. We don't want this.
God. Dickie Knowles.
Yeah. I still have his like autographed ball.
Oh, right. Dickie
I
Knowles?
have the '89 Mets ball here
Dickie
too.
Thon? Dick Thon? All right. Do we
Or
have
yeah,
any
Dickie Thon. Yeah,
questions?
what was I? Yeah, not Dickie Knowles. Dickie
I
Thon.
was like, who's Dickie
Sorry,
Knowles?
sorry.
He's somebody, though.
No, but that sounds
Sorry.
right.
Dickie Thon played on the Phillies, but
Yeah,
who's Dickie Knowles?
I don't know. It's somewhere it came from my head.
Came from my noggin. Dickie Knowles. American baseball player.
Oh,
Phillies.
oh, see,
Dickie
yeah,
Knowles.
it was Dickie Knowles who came to
Yeah.
visit us. Yeah,
There was
maybe
Dickie Knowles and Dickie Thon.
maybe that's it.
Let me just make sure I
But I'm
didn't
pretty
make
sure.
up Dick Thon. Yes. Dickie Knowles and Dickie Thon. We love our Dickies on the Phillies.
Why have we not brought back those names? Why have we not brought back Dickie as a first name? I think we need one. I think we really need one.
That guy did. I saw like he did
And more
a
Whiteys
YouTube video
too.
where it's like how we came up with nicknames. It's like, and Richard, how about Dick? What?
What?
Why Dick? How about Rich and Dick?
Yeah, still explaining that one to the kids for Batman. They're like, why does he keep calling him
Oh,
Dick?
Grayson.
Yes.
I know. Out of all the names,
The drawing in the Batman series is just, some of the episodes are just absolutely phenomenal. Like we were watching the Laughing Fish tonight, and it was like there were so many cool scenes where Batman was completely dark and then highlighted in the like the shadows highlighted him in blue, and he was kind of like liquid. And then there was like another part where he was like in the Batmobile, and it was definitely like a stationary picture, but it looked like whoever drew this stationary picture of him, like with like lines, like for the speed, like he was driving in the Batmobile but focused, so he wasn't like really moving, but and everything's going past him. It was probably a way to save money, but
oh
like
yeah,
whoever spent time like on that cell, drew like stubble on him, like it was insane. I'm like, where did
I
that? Like, I don't
remember.
remember it being this clear.
I remember driving scenes being like me and Rye, certain driving scenes in that show being like, this is like a movie. This feels
Yeah.
like a movie sometimes. Like,
Even
I forget it's not a cartoon.
we watched the episode Joker's Wild, and the whole plot of it is that a guy is trying to build a casino, and he's running short on cash for the casino, so he's going to go under. So instead of going with his original plan for the casino, he renames it Joker's Wild and puts the Joker's face on everything so that it will upset the Joker, and the Joker will blow it up for him, and he'll collect the insurance money. I was like, this was like marketed to like
Jeez,
13-year-olds, but this is like
I
something out of a Breaking
know.
Bad episode. This is
Yeah, I
insane.
know. This is like white collar crime shit.
Batman like figured it out. He's like, and then he tells the Joker, and the Joker's like, well, when you're right, you're right. Like I hate it when you make sense or something. I was like, oh, the Joker just folded. Why
He's
isn't
like, ah,
Batman?
shit. Never
Batman should
mind.
try
I
that
don't want
every
any part of
time.
this. Too
Every
boring.
every time the Joker's about to blow something up, Batman should be like, "That's what they want you to do, Joker. He's going to collect the insurance
Right,
money," and the
right,
Joker will be
right,
like,
right,
"Oh,
right. No,
no."
they're fooling you.
It
They're using you.
was such a good
Mm.
episode. So good. I get. We're gonna watch the Mask of the Phantasm soon because they finished the first season of Batman. So I told them once that's all done, we'll watch Mask of the Phantasm, and then we gotta strap in for that adventure.
I still haven't watched that.
Oh,
I like
it's
know it's like among the
phenomenal.
best
Yeah,
Batman animated things. I just haven't gotten it,
it's good. It's a good date night
gotten
one
to it.
because it's very like emotional. It's very like relationship oriented. It's about like him falling in love. The only part I rewatched it just because I wasn't sure if there was like a hanging or something in it. I don't remember. Like I remember seeing it in the theater, so I was like,
Oh
but
right,
sometimes
a
when you
hang.
watch something from the '90s, it's like, oh yeah, it's kids
I
running out with
know.
loaded guns, and you're like, wait,
Hmm.
because we just watched Hook the other night, and that was fun. But even that, he makes like he makes I forget what kind of joke in the beginning. He says something about like
Homophobic.
um maybe
Because that used to just be the joke. That was the punchline, that
that
you were
yeah
gay.
that was in there, but I'm sure that was in there somewhere. But there was something about like a medication or something or oh, nearsighted gynecologist. That's what he said. So it's like a kid like that'll just like I remember that went over my head. That would go over most kids' head. But like when he's doing the
Oh
battle with
yeah.
Rufio, he says nearsighted gynecologist.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, and
Sneaks that in.
he's like substitute
Near,
teacher. Get him back, Rufio.
nearsighted
Math
gynecologist.
tutor. Yeah, I mean it's right. I
Rufio,
was like,
Rufio, Rufio.
oh yeah, we saw the just sticking on movie reviews. We saw the Dogman movie. That is a pixie stick of a movie. Like that is there is no content whatsoever in that. Not that I was like expecting there to be content because you read the books and the books
Yeah,
are
but it's gotten like,
out
you
there.
know, apparently it's good.
It
So I was like, oh, maybe there is like a Pixar part to it where it's like, oh, I can appreciate this too. Nothing, because Hannah saw it and loved it,
yeah, no,
but she's
kids love
7.
it, but I was like, tell me one thing that happened in it, and they couldn't. Like we walked out, I was like, tell me one scene, just pick one scene and tell me like what happened, and the kids were like, they couldn't remember like one little part of it. I mean, like there were some like simple jokes to it, but the plot just keeps changing like every 3 seconds. Like you're like get me out of this thing. It was very painful. It was not. We watched the Puss in Boots movie, like the Last Wish. That was great. That was good. That was very much more structured. Like
Right.
it did have like a weird part where like the one dog like curses a whole bunch and like it's all bleeped, but it like
What?
I don't know. It kind of comes out of left field. Like the dog is just, and it also talks about the dog, and he kind of tells like a sad story. He's like, oh, like sometimes my family would hide me, and one time they hid me in a bag with like a bunch of rocks in it and threw me in a river, and they thought like I wouldn't be able to find them, but I got out and I did. And it's like really intense, because he's like
Whoa.
talking about like being
Gee.
murdered. I'm like, geez, like so. But all in all, it was a good story. Besides those moments, in the one thing that upset me in the Dogman movie because it wasn't needed was that they did a yippee ki from
Mother trucker.
yeah from Die Hard,
Die hard.
but for no reason. Like they just like they changed it to like cookie something. Like it was changed, but I was like, why would you even put that like in there?
Yeah,
Like the
right.
kids won't even get that
Yeah.
reference. So I don't know, that kind of weird. And there's just like straight up like fart jokes, like people climbing out of robots' butts. Like it's just, hey, I mean, Ace Ventura 2 did it the best. So I don't know. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
top it.
Kind of hot in these rhinos.
When he taps it. It's such a stupid disguise. That oh, I love that movie.
Scene's amazing.
Like this
Like how,
contraption, but there's just the little fan. The fan is it has to keep
yeah, right.
going. Like with the fan on in the African heat, like he's fine. Like this little fan going is good. But if the fan stops, oh no, he's melting. God,
Oh,
it's
he's
so funny.
that's so funny.
It's such a good way
I'm
to like
like,
simplify it.
there's no there's no way whoever wrote this would have written it if Jim Carrey wasn't in the movie. Like to come up with that idea is pretty insane. But
Yeah.
it's like, all right, he's this weird pet detective in this crazy elaborate disguise that somehow he brought to Africa.
Yeah. Like he doesn't have any other tools,
Oh
but
my
then all of a
god,
sudden he has this giant
so
mechanical
much.
rhino.
He's like,
And And for some reason, he has to take all of his clothes off. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Yeah.
Oh, it's so amazing, that scene. Oh my god.
Yeah. I do have some. I've got three. I figured it'd be like a simple.
All right.
I don't think
All
I put
right.
all
All right.
three. I don't think I got the third one in here. But we can do these two and then the last one.
All right. All right. Have some excitement.
Oh, it's playing out my thing.
Huh, 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 huh.
12-year-old set herself up. Hello, I am looking for some input. My 12-year-old daughter uses Messenger Kids to chat with her friends from school. She has a boyfriend that she goes to school with and pretty much only talks to him on the tablet, not in person. He's a very sweet boy who does well in school and treats her like gold. My wife and I occasionally check her corresponding with her friends and her boyfriend to make sure she is being safe. She is aware of this. She is the only one in her group of friends with a boyfriend, and I think she likes the idea of that and craves the attention. She takes screenshots of most of her conversations with said boyfriend and sends them to her girlfriends. It appears as though some of her friends are teasing her, all albeit somewhat harmless, about the drama, etc. I believe she
Albeit.
shouldn't yeah, albeit. I believe she shouldn't be sharing her conversations that she has with this boyfriend to her friends, as it's not fair to him and it sets herself up to be teased by her friends. She's also pretty hard on the guy, often questioning his decisions, like, why didn't you say hi to me today when you walked past? And crying over things like that he didn't pick her as a pickleball partner, basically putting pressure on him to do certain things or act certain ways and calling him out on it via messenger. This sounds okay. Is this just a normal all is this just all normal 12-year-old girl behavior? Should I have a talk with her about keeping things private and being easier on the guy, or should I mind my own business and let her figure it out? Uh
Hmm.
Key.
Okay.
Hmm.
My big feet. Think there is a way to perhaps, like, the last few sentences, or maybe the last sentence that she said there, it was like, is there any way to tell her to, like, take it easy on the guy and, like, whatever. It's like there's a way to, like, kind of bring that up without, like, being like, look, you got to do this, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like she could advise, like, yeah, for the most part it seems pretty
I mean, this is
normal,
sixth
but,
grade,
like,
right? Right. So,
right, yeah, but, like, for the long run, motherly advice is, like, timeless. It's like for any stage. It's like you gotta back off and kind of keep guys guessing more. Or
yeah.
if you're just like this up their ass, they're just gonna take off and find one who's cooler.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think let the relations however she's treating him in the relationship, like that's like you can give like the broad brush of like, hey, maybe don't um, be so demanding.
Guys aren't a fan of, like, yeah, you just being like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?
Yeah. Ever.
Broad,
Ever.
right?
Like we don't
No,
like any
no,
of it.
doesn't ever go away.
We only want to hear what we're doing right. We don't want criticism in our
Yeah,
relationships.
no.
Just
Unless we
slowly.
are, like, all of a sudden really clear and, like, present, and we're like, is there a way I could be doing this better? But that are
Yeah.
those moments. You just gotta wait for those moments.
Yeah. I think the technology could be a conversation. I'm a big advocate against the technology. I don't like it. Um, it starts like really early
Nor
in some of
I.
the kids. The screenshotting is a scary thing. Like I know it's like a simple thing that she's doing, but it's a scary thing, um, because it's like a private conversation that like you think you're only having with one person, and then it's getting presented to other people. I've been through that in even like the 90s, right? Like when I made the tape, I made like a tape for Nikki, right? Because I had a crush on her in like fourth or fifth grade, so like around this time, right? And I gave a tape to her, like saying like I like you and things like that. And then the tape got taken also by Hallman and like played at like a wedding or like I don't know what exactly happened, but it got played
A
somewhere.
Unami mixer.
A Unami mixer, right? Yeah. So
The
it
public middle school mixer.
it's so that was like something where it was like something private that like took some courage for me to kind of do, even though it was stupid. Shouldn't have done it, but it was something that got out there, and then it became like public that I wasn't expecting it to be public. And that of everything kind of hurt. Like a no would have hurt, but like a no, just making it public was not great. And that, I mean, like that definitely hurt me as a kid. So I would say like the screenshotting is taking things that are like private and making them public. And you need to understand the weight that goes along with that. Like you might think you're just like, oh, look at this girlfriend's like, look what he said or something like that. And having them like look over your shoulder at something, but that like taking a snapshot and like publishing it to them, they could then publish it to somebody else and publish it to somebody else and like that digital copy is never good. You're
And
never getting that back,
then I see it on like just a random Instagram meme.
right? And then you're
You
and
know what I
then
mean?
this mom is posting it and it's like here's the picture of their conversation. Like it just, to me, that seems like the biggest problem. I think the interrelationship stuff is stuff that she's probably gonna have to figure out, and you could just tell her to be kind, but
Right.
she's got to figure that part
Right.
out
You
herself.
can, like you said, she can like give that motherly general advice, but you can't be like, with this guy, I see you do this specific thing. Don't do that. Do this. It's like that's a fucking explosion waiting to happen.
Yeah.
But you can generalize and get, maybe she'll take the hint.
Yeah. I think the technology side is it's so hard to manage because it's like, okay, so you've gone with, they get the technology, they said they can communicate with everybody, but you're going to monitor it like Big Brother. It's like that's a weird situation too. Like it's like, all right, I don't trust you to have a good, like it's like, where's the trust breakdown? Is it, I don't trust other kids, I don't trust your friends, I don't trust the technology, I don't trust you. Like where's the trust breakdown that you have to monitor it? And to me, that's, I'd rather just be like, hey, no technology, hate me, right? Figure out another way, and then later on when you're more mature, like you get the technology and you figure it out. Like I don't know, I think 12 is
Dude,
still,
we have the greatest argument against technology because we were children without it and with it,
yeah,
and adults with it. Like we have like the best experience with it because we know both worlds. And
right.
it's like this isn't anything you need to rush towards as a growing kid. There's
Right.
nothing you need to rush to.
Well, I mean, like you, and like the more access to a communication you have, the less you think about the communication.
Right.
Like asking a girl
Yep.
out on AIM was not the same as asking a girl out by calling her up on the phone. I mean, like night and day. Like you could be on AIM and be like, "Sup? Like, what you guys up
It's
to?"
not
Like
it's
it was like this long, drawn out like thing. But if you had to call a girl up, you'd be like, "Hi, I'm interesting." Like it was dangerous. It was like you actually had a fight or flight
hi.
response. You know?
Remember what I look like at my best? Okay, picture that right now. Ignore my voice, it's just cracked.
Yeah.
It's so like it's like having a hangover as like a college kid, or having a hangover with like babies. It's just not even the same. It needs a different term.
Right.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
It's funny. So yeah, um, doesn't sound like the worst situation, but I don't really get the teased part. It like sets herself up to be teased. I don't know what they're teasing her about. So I think no matter what, they're going to be teased if they're
Just
12.
sharing private info, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that's just that's all they do is tease each other.
Well, I think you have to be careful what you share with friends, like because at 12,
Yeah.
like bridges get burned
Dude,
and
oh,
I don't-
bitches be mean.
I do feel like it was a lot more with the girls than with the guys. Like we would fight, like there would be like a fight that might break out between the guys, but then like after it was either like we're friends or we're not friends, but it wasn't like this middle ground where it's like, all right, we're sort of friends. Like we never had that
No,
type
and it was also like, okay, they don't like each other, but we all still hang out together, and they're both still part of this group. And we just understood that Pete and Smith just aren't going to talk to each other.
Yeah, but we still have to play
You
baseball.
know,
Like there was kind of like an
right?
unwritten rule, like hey,
We
we all
you know we need a first baseman, a pitcher, an outfielder, and a shortstop. So
so we're gonna push on
you
through.
have to, right? Yeah, right.
We wouldn't. You couldn't upset somebody
Right. There
too
was only
much.
9 of us.
Yeah,
It was
somebody
funny.
had to
I mean,
pitch, somebody had to
even
catch. We don't want to chase the ball all day. Come on.
right. Yes. Okay. We have a roaming catcher, but that's it. God, that was the
Yeah.
best. That baseball, just smacking those homers.
It was such like if you hit the like the trailer, it was like the best.
I just love how like we played and like kids were running around all around us. And like we never nailed one like in the face.
Well, we
Maybe
did
once.
once. We did once, but we were playing on the annex because sometimes they would kick us off the main field, and so they put us to the back, which we argued that was not safe because it was like a smaller field and there were more kids running around over there, so there wasn't as much clearance, and we felt like we had earned the right to be at the big field, but they
Oh
put us
yeah,
at the
the
little
annex.
field, and they put us at the annex, and then Terry swung and his bat didn't he cut the knob off the end of his wiffle ball bat.
I
I don't
know.
know. I
I
don't know why, but
remember
it was like
to
you're,
get it in.
there was just no grip to hold on to. So he swung and it just came right out of his hands. And the kid was swinging on those like death trap jungle gym, like that
Just
solid
tetanus shots.
4 by like those big lugs of wood. And then there was like a chin up bar that was like 10 feet in the air. Um,
The very
and
same jungle gym that Terry broke his arm falling off.
yes, exactly. Same one. And I can still picture it. It's so funny how I can still picture it.
Me too.
I can picture the bat rotating in the air and then just
Oh, this.
landing on the back of the neck of the kid on the jungle gym. Like it
Oh,
just wham, just hits him in the back of the head and he just drops. And we were not allowed to stuff wiffle ball bats anymore. We had to play with like foam balls or something. We were like, this sucks.
no.
The kid was fine with it. I remember the kid. I remember the
When
kid who
did
got
that
hit.
even happen?
It happened it was like halfway through 8th grade or something.
I was like, because we played baseball like
No, we played from like
forever with
5th
those
grade until
bats.
like 8th, but then they didn't allow it. They would check our
Terry,
bats.
the most fundamentally sound of all of us makes
I
the
mean,
error that ends it.
it wasn't the first time we lost a bat. Like we had thrown the bats
Oh yeah,
plenty of
that it
times.
skidded when they would
Yeah.
skid across the blacktop.
Yeah, they all had like road rash. Yeah. The duct tape was like all
That's
frayed and sharp. But
Dan Kim's. I loved
his was like 30
It was like a
pounds.
mallet. It was like an entire roll of duct tape at the end. It was just like a mallet, and it was like whoom.
Yeah,
You could launch them.
if you hit it with that one, but it took all your strength to get it like around. It was so heavy, but it was just like
Yeah, and
it
yours
was
was
end
like,
weighted. Mine was like more
yeah,
balanced. I like the design of mine, the RB6X, because it had bouncy
yeah, it was
balls
smooth. It
packed
was like a
in the
lightsaber.
barrel. I made a strong core. I wish I still had that. I think it broke in half.
Somebody did that with a wooden bat. They stuffed it with bouncy balls.
Yeah. Oh, a wooden bat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, remember when they used to like cork bats?
do you want to see my bats? I got a bat for the new baseball league.
Oh yeah.
It's a beauty.
It's a beaut, Clark. These ice cubes are really hitting the spot. Ooh.
There it is. Yeah. It's like a 33-inch.
Damn.
It's got like a. Oops, sorry.
Damn.
It's got like a nice.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, it's a birch. 3330.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, hopefully I don't break
That's awesome how they
the
have it.
second time I swing. Ah.
That would suck.
Hold on, I yanked
Well, it's also it doubles as a good weapon.
Sorry. I'm back now.
That's a good weapon.
Yeah, should be good.
All right, what else do we have question-wise here? My lower lumbar is starting to slide away from me.
Even in your new chair.
Dude. So like a week ago, I don't know, I guess I slept wrong and my hip was like fucked up. So like I was walking weird for like 2 days and I don't know what I did to like compensate for the hip. I like yanked my back out again.
That's the thing.
So it's like never ending.
I was joking with people at the baseball tryout thing because like everybody was kind of like listing out their injuries, and I'm like, guys, my knee almost blew out taking stuff out of the oven yesterday. Like you don't know when it's coming. I'm like, this bread looks oh my god, my knee! Like I stood a weird way. Like I stood weird. That's not like a thing that happened before. Standing weird. But now,
yes,
it's like any moment.
Like I told you, I felt every ligament and tendon in my knee because I like planted and spun, and it like everything came apart for a split second, and I was like,
sometimes I feel my knee go like inverted, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, you're supposed to not be able to do that. Like, please don't.
I'm like, if I run up the steps the wrong way one day, is this just gonna snap?
Yeah, running up the
12
steps
anymore.
I've learned not to run up the steps. Do not run up steps, and just don't run up or down steps. Like that's just like even if I'm feeling fit, like even if I'm feeling good because I've been like trying to get like in good shape for this because I really want to take the baseball thing seriously. So I've been in like a making hurting bombs type training thing because I got calcium on all my joints.
Yes,
stuff like that. So I'm trying to do that, but
Training
even
in the
then,
mountains.
running up the stairs is not is off the program. All right, let's see.
It sucks.
Just had a big discussion with wife, 33 female, because I, 36 male, tell her that I don't like to go to bed at different times. Like me going to bed at 11:30 p, and she going to bed after I'm sleeping at 12:30 p. You mean A? Because she games online with people an hour behind. I tell her I'm okay with waiting for a while, like 12 a. You don't know how clocks work, dude.
I know.
This is bad. 12 a.m. max. I asked her to reduce her time a bit, but she won't budge, telling me that I'm idealizing a married relationship, and every other couple out there go to bed whenever they want, and it's illogical of me to ask her to cut off something she likes because I want to go to bed together. How old are you? Do you go to bed together? If not possible cuz of work or something, I guess. Would you do it if you could? Okay. So basically, they don't go to bed at
Those
the
are-
same time. Do they have to go to bed at the same time?
How old are you? Wait, hold on. What was that last part? It was
Uh,
very it was Susian. It was like, could you? Would you go to bed? You know, how old are you? Do you go to bed together? Could you? Would you go to bed or in a house with a mouse on a fence? Uh, Hold on.
Some shoe goo,
It's
new goo now.
are you
Yeah.
fighting because we get a bit dirty for going to bed together? Am I being irrational? Hold on. It's your wife. It's your wife. Did she all of a sudden start not going to bed at the same time as you? Because that's a question I need to know, or an answer I need.
I mean,
Because
my
if
wife's
this
probably
isn't
in bed right
anything
now.
new, like yeah, so is mine. If this isn't anything new, then what are you? Then yes, you are being irrational because you shouldn't just expect her to change when you want her to. When she's just been this way the whole time, she goes to sleep when she's ready to fall asleep,
I mean, I think.
and I'm like, just go to bed. God.
Wait, I'm sorry. It sounds like you just argued the other side of the point. Oh, you're saying for
No, I'm
him to just go
saying
to
to
bed.
him,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I
dude,
thought you were
just go to
saying it to her.
bed. Go to bed. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Who cares when she goes to sleep?
Well,
You
I
do.
mean, all right.
Why?
I'll play devil's advocate here. Like, I think I could
Hmm.
understand that he wants her to go to bed. Like, he doesn't want her to stay up, and maybe she comes in later and wakes him up or something like that. And then he doesn't get a good night's sleep. Like, that could be something, or he just wants the company. Like, it's not unheard of, right? So what I would say is,
Yeah,
did you
not unreasonable.
like, you have to compromise. You can't say like every night you have to go to bed, but you have to be like, hey, one night this week, could you like just, you know, stop early? And like, if she's playing video games every night, then maybe you've got a case. Um, but if this is like on Tuesday she does this and you're asking her to stop, that seems like a bit extreme. It's like, let her do the thing that she wants to do and learn how to read a clock before you
Right.
start
And
any other
yes,
problem.
and notate time.
She goes to bed at
But it's
12
like
noon.
if this has been her routine since before she was your wife, then like it's not irrational to ask. But like, imagine that night when she does try to go to bed with you and doesn't play, doesn't game. She's gonna
Yeah.
be like, I stared at the ceiling for 2 hours
Yeah, right. Like,
and I
you're
didn't
gonna fall
enjoy it.
asleep and she's gonna just have to sit there and enjoy you
Yeah,
sleeping.
and not get a good night's sleep. That's probably the biggest
Why don't you stay up?
thing.
Why don't you ask her to go to bed early one night and you stay up the other night, and then you get 2 nights in a row of sleeping. Compromise, dude.
Or if you have a hard time going to sleep because she comes back in, compromise with no. Uh, I just put on headphones and turn on white music. White music, white noise, white
Yeah.
music. Don't put on white. Put on white noise or something. You know what I mean?
What's white music?
Like
What are
there's
black
like
jobs?
uh you know what I mean? Like when you go to bed, if you're asking someone to like alter their routine, that's a big
Yeah.
ask. It's
You obviously
tough,
don't have
tough
kids.
change.
You obviously don't have kids
Yeah.
because you'll learn very quickly that your bedtime makes no difference to any of them. They will
Right.
wake
Yeah.
you
Like
up like at
you,
4 a.m. and at midnight and
oh,
5 minutes after you lay them down. Like, there's no rhyme or
I
reason.
think Chris Rock, he's like, it's for you to figure out. The instructions are gone. Like he's like, you are on your own. You're the tambourine man in the band. You're barely important. You're
Yeah.
just kind of there. So no one's gonna help you. No one's gonna show you how to do it. So figure it out.
I
And
guess
it's true.
at the core of this, it's like
Adaptions.
the is it irrational? It's not irrational, but I don't think you're going about it the right way.
I just think it's not irrational, but it's unrealistic if you are expecting your wife to just all of a sudden change if she's just been doing it this way the whole time.
Yeah, I don't really like the word irrational. I think it's like, well, anything you can
Yeah.
rationalize anything
Yeah.
in this situation. Like you need to sleep or you want company from your wife. It's like, yeah, that's all
Yeah.
like we can rationalize that all day long.
A lot
So
of
it's
people
a stupid
like
question.
going to bed at the same time. But it's like if you always did go to bed at the same time and then all of a sudden she's gaming with someone in a different time zone, first of all, I would be raising an eyebrow to that. But if it's been her thing this whole time,
Yeah.
come on,
Why don't you just get on there
adapt around it, man,
and game with her? Or just stay
or
up.
beat her. Yeah, get real good at it
Or
and beat her
beat her.
so she hates
Oh
it.
no, beat her in the game. Just in the game though.
Yeah.
Just we
No, I
weren't.
meant in life,
Yeah, yeah.
in real life. Give her a nice punch to the nose,
She'll be in
and
bed
then
like
she'll get the
that.
message that yeah, she'll cuddle with you right away. It works with my wife every time. And our white sheets.
So with our white music on. Our white sheets and our white music. All right. All right. The last one. I think I copied this one. Kid fought back
Oh
hard.
boy,
Should I be happy or worried?
sounds
It's a
like she
short.
did a Ralphie.
It's a short one. Yeah. God, that's so hard watching that scene. Watching Ralphie like beat him up. It's like there's so much emotion. Like that. There's way too much emotion in that scene from A Christmas Story that has no business being there. Like
I know
it was like the perfect bully scene. Like
yeah.
because it's like unleashed anger. The other bully kid is like, "Hey, come on, stop!" Like, like everything about it is
Dude,
like
it would
perfectly
yeah,
kid.
he's like, "What the fuck?" It would be awesome if, like, that actor who, like, I know still does stuff, like, could voice over it and say shit, like, like, talk major trash to that bully, like, "You
Yeah,
yellow-eyed freak, I'm gonna kill you," instead of
yeah. He was an elf, right? Like he was
Yeah,
an elf.
right, yeah, he's, like, in a whole bunch of things. Pops up, Ralphie.
Ah, good memory.
A
Yeah.
Christmas Story. That sequel they did.
So, so my kid was bullied at school. He's 7 by 2 8-year-olds. Okay. So he picked up a small plank with a nail on it and hit the bully in the head with it, scraping him with the nail, not hitting him with the nail, thank God. Obviously, I shouldn't be laughing through this. Obviously, there was a bit of talk
It
about
sounds
it
like
with
Bugs Bunny.
teachers.
It's like
Why is there a plank of wood with a nail in it at the school? Like,
yeah, off. That obviously sounds so fake.
yeah. Obviously, there was a bit of talk about it with the teachers, and I was upset and mad with him. He's grounded. Grounded. He's 7. All right, we'll have to come back to all
I
this.
know.
This one needs to be analyzed. But now later in the evening, I'm kind of like, well, that kid will never pick on him again, which kind of feels like a win somehow. What do you think?
See, that's a foolish thought that the kid will never mess with him again. Like, well, why not?
Yeah,
Bullies sometimes want revenge, and it's not like the kid punched him out. He used the wood and like he's not going to have that on him at all times. You can't walk around with that plank of wood with a nail in it.
it's
So
like the walking tall. Like he's just got a 2x4 he's walking around with all the time.
right, yeah, like it's his zombie weapon, like that he fashioned. Uh, but yeah, like grounding him, he shouldn't be grounded. He got bullied by older kids. But like, what's bullied mean?
What's even grounded for a 7-year-old though? Like, where was he supposed to be? Like,
I know, right? He's, he's
like he's
going to the
7.
his job that he has, or yeah. But I think you can ground him like you can't go to your friends' houses, or you can't go
Yeah.
outside.
Okay. Like,
You know,
yeah,
versions.
you can't go over and play.
Yeah,
Yeah. That seems like
something like that.
more like you might need friends at this time. I guess it doesn't explain how the
Yeah,
kids were bullying him. Like if they were making fun of his drawing and then he took a piece of wood with a nail in it and swung it at them, like that might be
that's what I'm saying. I'm
the
like,
scale.
bullied is very vague.
Yeah.
I don't know. You should be proud if like these kids like pushed him and like roughed him up, and then he took a piece of wood, like like wrestling, like, oh, and they're taking down the hitman, and as they think they've got him, he slowly grabs the steel chair, and then they turn around and he smashes him. If that's what happened with the nail
That would be
in
the
the
idea.
wood,
That would be
which,
the ideal situation. Yeah.
yeah, oh, he got him with the wood. It scraped him. The nail. Oh, there's a nail in that wood. Oh my God.
Like
Ring the
he
bell.
was doing the thing where he's like reaching and his like hand is trying to find like the one thing. They actually not to go back to the Batman animated series, but they did that in that where like the Joker's reaching, like Batman's like punching him and the Joker's reaching back to to find something to fight him back with, and there's like a knife and like a gun, and then there's just like a big thing of bologna, and then like in the next scene it just cuts over and he just smacks him with the bologna, and it was hilarious. And I was like, but it was such a classic like thing of like reaching over to try to find something, and I'm just picturing the kid
That's
being like reaching over and then finding the plank of wood.
yes, right, right. Like he grabbed like I don't know, like somebody's shoe, like people are watching. No,
I think the
but yeah,
I think
what's bullied?
the like a plank of wood with a nail in it. First of all, I don't know why that's there, but like unless he's in like
Sounds made
mortal
up.
danger, I don't think he should be like going for a weapon because things are just going to escalate with weapons. Like, yeah, you're saying like, oh, it's over now. It's like I don't know about like it's going to be like a plank of wood, then it's going to be a steel pipe, then it's going to be like, like a
They
slingshot,
didn't
and
like
then it's going to be
they didn't
that
settle
gun.
it like men.
Yeah,
They didn't settle it like men. Like he cheated, so now it's like not over. It's like wrestling. It's like, oh, they're gonna, oh, he hits him with the thing and then he runs away and he gets away. Well,
right,
what happened next week? They're gonna
right.
attack him backstage when he's getting
Yeah,
interviewed by Coach.
yeah. It would be over if he just if with his own fist just knocked the kid down and
It
then
ends
actually
that
help the kid
way.
up. Like you knock the kid
Like
down,
shit.
you
Right.
help
Yep.
the kid back up. All of a sudden, you're best friends, especially with guys. Like
Or
that's
yeah, it's mad respect. It's like,
yeah.
okay.
You don't even know what they're upset about, you know. So,
But bullied,
but a
yeah.
plank of
Bullied's
wood with a
vague. I
nail in
need
it.
more.
When I was reading it, I thought it was going to be like I pictured the scene
Mankind.
like they hit him and then he comes back with the nail and it's just like and there's just like blood out of the kid's eye and it's just over. I was like, where is this going to go? I thought it was going to be way more. I mean, I've probably just been watching like
My
wrong
kid
stuff.
fought. No, I thought the
I
same
was
thing.
watching I
Like
was
I
watching
thought, like in
Invincible,
the
I think,
back of
and
the
I
head.
like
Huh?
just and then the kid
Oh,
says
Invincible,
something
man.
crazy like, "I'm thirsty. So I'm just gonna get a drink of water,"
And
and
he's
then he
like,
like turns and the
yeah,
plank is like this, like the
and he
plank's like
just yeah,
attached to his.
in his neck, and he just like falls into the water fountain, and he's like,
Yeah,
like, oh my God, I went into his brain.
it gets him. It gets him like the like how they
Should I
did
be
like the
happy or
sword
worried?
executions where they like put it like the sword like they
Oh
make the
yeah,
sword go in like there like to like yikes
like
yikes
couple Game of Thrones deaths that way.
yeah
Can't remember.
gives me the heebie-jeebies.
I mean, I think yeah, you should be worried because he didn't really fight. But I mean, yeah, it's so weird because it's like you were bullying me. I swung back at you with a piece of wood and a nail, and it scraped your face. And it's like they're just mad now. They're not, they don't have respect for him. They don't like. I don't know. That's a
Yeah,
tough spot.
like it sounds like your kid is still the prey. It's just that the prey scraped like the lion that was attacking. Like it's like
He
you
got
didn't.
lucky.
Yeah, you escaped, but now there's going to be something else, and it's going to be worse because now the lion's embarrassed. Like it's going to come down
It
too far.
reminds me.
I'll meet you
Yeah,
at
he's got a
lunch.
scar like you made me ugly. You made me look this way.
Yeah, he's
Like like a little kitten, and like there's a huge like wolf bearing down, and the kitten
yeah,
gets a lucky like scratch on its nose, and the wolf is like
yeah,
for a second, and it's gonna come back and eat.
yeah.
So,
So it could, like
but what's
I
bullying?
would be worried that the parent just writes weird though in this because it's like even in it, it's like obviously there was a bit of talk about it with teachers. It's like what? Like you physically assaulted with like a rod, like the kid could have tetanus. Like like it seems like a very serious thing to hit somebody with a plank with a nail in it. Like I feel like you're kind of
He picked up a small plank with a nail in it. Like what do they go to school at a construction site? It's the school's being built, but they're not going to wait. They're just
I
going to
mean,
start teaching.
there's trash everywhere, so it's like I kind of get it, like that there could be something like that there, but it's like I think the kid needs to learn how to defend himself with his fists, just as a matter of honor.
Right.
Like I get that he survived this if he was being like beat up by two guys, and he uses a weapon to like get away from them. By all means, because like you it's already an unfair fight. So bringing like a
Yeah.
weapon that was
Right.
nearby into it, like you're just trying to get away, right? It shouldn't be a 2-on-1
Yeah,
no matter what.
but it should be used to ward them off. Like you don't want to really hit them with it. You just want to be like, "Yo, back up! Like, come on, why are you doing this?
Well, he could have just
Why
been
are you
like he
making
could have
me
been doing like the
wield a weapon at
when like you do
you, the
like the
boss man?"
swings, like the hey, stay away. Like you're trying to stay away, but you're just clearing a perimeter and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
right into the earlobe. Sorry, I just keep picturing deaths.
Well, what is it? Why is it ringing? I hear bells.
Mommy.
Like all the words, all the words.
Yeah, it just ends up it just basically just turns into the Spider-Man dust scene, right? Like,
It, or it just sends you to like a random moment in like your childhood when you're like the thorn, like the bushes are nice this time of
yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah.
The azaleas are pink.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I forgot my lunch at home. It's just
Go down level 8 warp zone.
call Papa. The well is dry. It's just over. So, oh my god. But so
Oh,
anyway, don't. I mean, like, I think the kid needs to learn how to defend himself. With a 2-on-1 situation, you can always kind of, for lack of a better term, like because this is how it went down in most fights as kids. Maybe not in seventh grade, maybe not as 7-year-olds, but like seventh grade on was like all like bitch fest, right? Like it was like you're a bitch, you're his bitch, they're your bitch. Like everybody for some reason was someone else's bitch. Like when it came to fighting, and that most of the fighting was just figuring out the hierarchy of bitchiness. It was so stupid.
it was all
Um,
talk.
and a lot of times it was just yelling, and if you actually physically confronted somebody it was done because they'd be like, hey, like stop. Like it was so funny.
Yeah, you'd be like, "Let's go," and then be like, "You want to fight? Oh, well, you're crazy." It's like,
Yeah,
why are you wasting all of your
yeah.
oxygen?
Not here. Obviously, like
Yeah. At
I've got
Fourth Street,
sports later. Yeah, I've got lacrosse later. Like so.
I've seen
um
one street fight. Well, Fourth Street fight in high school.
mm,
It was Bob Pritchard and Kyle Rutterow, and Pritchard fought dirty, but he ended the fight because he put his ring on his middle finger and he punched him right in the teeth, and
ah
his tooth got like knocked loose, and it was
mm.
over.
Yeah, because now
because
you're in now
Rutero
you're
had about 100 pounds on
now
Pritchard.
now you're involving parents, right? Because now you got to go to the dentist and all these other things. Like
I
now,
heard them like working it out afterwards. Kyle's like, I'll tell them that like the door hit me, and Pritchard's like, I don't care. And he's like, you need to care. Otherwise, like my parents are gonna call the police.
right? Yeah,
I was like, you
it's so
dorks,
funny
you
how the beef
idiot.
is over. The beef is over when
I'm
parents are
covering for
involved.
you now.
It's
So
so funny.
stupid.
It's
I was
so
like, are you
funny.
guys glad this happened?
Well, I remember
Idiots.
my dad like there was something where like Matt Clark and I got in a fight at one of my birthday parties. Like it was over something stupid, like what music was playing or something. And my dad, I remember my dad was like, "We'll just go out to the yard and fight." And so we just like went out to the
Yeah,
like
he's
he
like,
basically
I'm
like
sure he
pushed us out to the
should have
front yard,
missed
like we were about to
the
duke it out.
skinny pitch.
And I remember like we just like looked at each other and we're like, "Nah, I don't think it's that bad." So we just kind of like went
Like
back
it's
into the party.
cold.
We're like in June. We were like, yeah, like let's just go back in. But it was like just the threat of the fight, like the threat of the violence was enough for us to just like forget about it. Like we're like, no, we don't need to take it to that
I
reality.
remember
It's much better as a
I
non
remember
reality.
like maybe just having a problem running my mouth or talking to girls I probably shouldn't,
Mm.
and dudes just making me, make my knees rattle, shaking my boots. That's what I was looking for. But
Yeah.
then nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's just all talk.
Yeah, it's a lot
Nobody
of
does
talk.
anything.
Yeah, it's a lot of posturing.
And you
It's
just
not
pretend they don't exist and nothing happens.
most of it they try to get away with was like the anticipation. Like, hey, we're gonna get you. Like when we rode to the twins, right? Remember like those guys kept calling us and they were like, we're gonna like destroy you. And I'm like, you know where I live. Like you're you're calling me. Like just come over.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, then let's just do it.
That
But
that
no, you're not.
that cured me of a lot of fear, like when it came to like kids and stuff, because like that was one of my first experiences of like people making threats they were never going to back up, and it didn't even make sense why they were getting threats. Like it was like, sorry, we found these girls attractive and wrote them a letter,
Yeah,
and you're like coming
yeah, we
after
shot
us
our
for it.
shot.
Yeah,
You're
like
threatened by us. We get it.
yeah. I remember the best was like I was like making a sandwich and the guy called and he was like, I'm gonna come over there and kick you, like I'm gonna beat you up or something like that. I'm gonna kick your ass. And I was like, well, I'm making sandwiches. Do you want me to make you one so you can have one when you get here?
Ha ha.
He was like,
Their
what?
strength.
I'm like, I'm making a peanut butter and jelly. Do you want one? Just
I remember like in high school when, the guy was off in the Marines and they broke up, and anyway, his friend who like hated me also because I also talked to a girl he was dating, I guess. Thought he was dating. And he goes, he's coming for you. He
oh, I
messages me on
love
AOL.
that. Yeah.
He's coming for you. And I'm like, no, he's not. He'll go to jail. He's in the Marines. You can't touch me.
It never made sense. Like I think there was like an insecurity that like they would lose the girl, but like
Napoleon.
nobody really understood that it's like no, like if they're really your girl and I go and talk with them, like then they
You
should
shouldn't have
stay with
anything to worry
you.
about, man.
Like, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. They
No.
should just laugh it off and tell you about it later, you know? But it's like talking was like, no, she belongs to
You're
me.
scared.
And it's like
Because
you don't
they
even
hear them
understand
going,
that.
ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
They hear them laughing way more than usual, especially more than when they're around.
Yeah, that was always the thing. The sense of humor always worked.
That was the problem.
You never
That was
knew
the
when
problem.
you never knew when it was working though. Like you knew they were laughing, but you never knew like how much they were falling for you, like
Yeah,
in the
you're like,
moment. And then like
can I keep this going?
2 weeks later, they're like, "Hey, like what are you doing later?" It's like, "Oh wait, that worked."
I was always, yeah, it was always with them where the trick was to listen to them try to make you laugh. So then you're like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, if they're gonna make that, then I'm pretty much I can say pretty much my entire catalog
Right. Yeah.
without getting worried. Like
Yeah.
that was always a good trick. If a girl makes like a perverted joke, you're like, oh, good,
It was also good just
cool.
that like you ended up figuring out if you even liked them, like because it was always a difficult balance because it was like you might find them attractive, but then they open their mouth and you're like like, but it that the distance you had to travel to be turned off by them was pretty far when you're like 16, when you're like 16,
Had to be
17.
a
It,
real
like
bitch.
you really like people could be
Had to be
screaming
a
in your
real
face like
skank.
don't do it, don't do it. You're like no, I think I'm on the right
Had to
path.
be a real no, yeah. I mean, if they're good looking in high school, it's just like I don't care. I don't even know what their personality is. I don't
All of this is
hear
going to
them.
last for 2 weeks and then I will move on. Like looking back at high school, it's just like so funny how like mix and matched it was. Like me coming in later too, like me coming in like junior year to everything was just it was so funny seeing the dynamics like played out already. Like I remember being like, "Oh, who's that girl?" And it's like, "Well, that girl like used to date JR. Now like you'd give me like this like full rundown of like everybody that
I
dated
know, and
them.
it's like I probably should have
Like,
told
oh
you
my
nothing.
gosh.
But it's like I feel
There's
like you
so
need
much
to know the
history.
whole backstory.
Well, because you had
That's
to know
such
because
an
those are the people that might fight you, like the Scott Pilgrim list. Like it's like oh these are the ex boyfriends that are going to be upset if I
oh,
started
right.
dating. Like for some reason,
That's an
some are
interesting
untouchable.
idea for a show. It's like the first season you have one main character and he's in freshman year in high school. The second season it's a new main character as a sophomore and it's the same school. So that
Mm,
kid who was in season 1 is now a sophomore and this new guy is the new guy is the main character. And you
mm.
keep doing that all 4 seasons. It'd be kind of cool. Because you get like the crossover thing, but it's like a new main character, but it's kind of still the same universe,
Do you
and then they'll
see
all
the original
collide.
main character? So like when you're in sophomore, like so
S-
they're in the same class as the other main character.
some, maybe
Well,
not the
because
whole thing.
well,
Who
no, if you
knows?
go into if you start the second season and it's a brand new person in sophomore year, isn't aren't they in the same year as the other main character? Unless
Yeah,
they
but
die.
like maybe they don't have all the same classes.
Oh, sure, right,
Like
right.
we didn't
But
always
in
have
the
the same
school, but
every
in the
same
in
class.
I mean in the class, in like
Yeah,
the class of 2029,
the
whatever it is.
the whoever's like whoever we have to have that senior year, the new student from somewhere else when they get here, Mexico, Canada,
Mm,
Russia, it'll all be those 4 graduating together. It'd be kind of
okay,
cool.
yeah, but it's only from the one's perspective at a time.
Right. But it's not like you lose each character from the previous season. It's almost like Lost, but like for a whole season instead of just an episode.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of Lost, a little bit of like Game of Thrones books.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Like
yeah.
where like they go into a pub
Each
and it's like
chapter.
you live like the chapter in that person's mind and then move
Hmm.
over to the other person's mind. Yeah, I see it.
Yes, yes, and maybe like the same things happen.
Yeah, the same things happen, but it's like but you hear like their brains. The
Yeah.
brains. All right.
All right. Well,
That
I'm
was
gonna
fun.
fold here like tinfoil. Call your grandparents and let them know about our show because I bet they would love it. We are at the 218 mark. Number 18. Was that Mariana Duncan that we decided? Were
Mariana
we
Duncan.
recording when we did that? I hope
I
so,
feel like
God.
Mariana Duncan was maybe Kevin
Happy
Stocker
man.
was 18.
I thought he was 19. I have his autograph. I
I
should know.
swear Crook was 19.
29.
I swear he was
29,
19.
you silly goose.
No, he was, but he was also 19.
Maybe for a period. You're not 100% wrong. But it was he was like a couple numbers for like a little bit.
100%.
But it wasn't even like a season.
Maybe a little bit. You're not 100%.
Like I don't even know if I could prove it. Maybe like on another team. when he was in the Padres. I
No,
think.
I swear he was 19 on the Phillies. He was 29 as well. I'm not saying that he wasn't 29. I'm just saying that I think he was
Yeah.
also 19 and he changed.
Stocker, 19.
Stocker was 19?
Yes.
Can you look up Crook? I don't want to go to bed thinking.
Crux, 29.
That's it?
But
He
I
was only
think.
ever
But I
29?
think. Oh, hold on. All
I know
right. John Kruk.
Yakiera Crook. Gonna have to hack the mainframe.
All right, ready? Did you know John? See, dude, this is why I was like, your whatever the hell I said, because it was weird. He was like numbers for like half of a season, or maybe even less.
Yeah.
Did you know John Kruk wore 4 different uniform numbers during his time in Philly? 11, 19, 28,
He was
and
11
finally
too.
29.
Look at that.
But he was 11 and 19. And 11, the missing 11, the elusive. We gotta go.
I feel better. Thank you. Thank you for confirming.
I can't wait to clip that segment of trying to remember all the numbers and send it to Fran Lang.
Yeah.